Will it work?
We're only an hour and 20 minutes late.
Excellent. We'll do it for 20 minutes and that's it.
Having some serious good conversation.
We're having great fun that
Thanks for tuning in.
you weren't invited to.
Hi, good night.
Wow, my sides are hurting.
We know this is definitely going to YouTube only. There's no anyone that's going to tune in halfway through this is going to go, what just happened?
Yeah.
So we've had a couple of weeks off and we are now starting. We're going to jump backwards and forwards in time. You'll have seen from the splash screen we have jumped 1,115 years into the history of the Empire. And so to make this different, we're 18 episodes into Book 1, effectively, Rise of an Empire.
The thing upstairs.
No, it's the tank. For ease, so we know what the series is now, this is going to be technically episode 19, but what I'm going to do is this so that people realise that this is a different time in history. It's Empire in Flames, episode 1, but it's episode 19 of the overall series.
Do I call that 19 brackets 1 or 1? I'm going to do 19 brackets 1.
So I'm saying basically, I would say is, you could say basically...
I'm going to do...
Cortex Group Roleplay, episode 19, book 2, episode 1.
That looks like front bump. Ladies front bump. That's straight to YouTube, don't worry.
So it's book 2.
Episode 1.
19. 1, but it's brackets 1 because it's episode 19 brackets 1.
But I didn't know what you were doing. You just turned in and goes, oh, look, it's a blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh, fantastic. Why is he drawing that? I didn't realise it's actually just a bracket and a 1.
It's bracketed in 1. Just said ladies front bump.
Like, why is he drawing that for?
Episode 19, ladies from Bob. That's a hell of an episode, mate.
It's catch caught. But he's writing it down.
I'm writing Empire Flames episode 1.
It's 19.
Okay, 19.
Brackets 1.
1.
Oh, point 1. Never thought of that.
Well, as I was saying, so it's episode 19, book 2, part 1.
Oh, that's confusing.
Oh,
I can't fit that in now on book 2.
Right, okay. Book 2.
Book 2.
Part 1.
Part.
Chapter 1.
Oh,
my God,
man, I
mind up.
can't do that. It's book 2 now.
Book 2, part chapter 1.
The episode is Nordland.
Oh, chapter 1.
No, I'm going to put Nordland there.
Nordland. Right.
I'm going to see if I can make that bigger as far as the writing on the screen is concerned.
Huh?
Font.
What that?
No, that's nothing, it's just the chapter name.
Oh. I can't see anything. So if anyone says anything.
Yeah, it's far too small.
You know your phablet?
Oh, phone. It's on there. I don't usually have it on. It's distracting.
You decided not to put it on because it's distracting.
Yeah. It's so small. that,
Bless.
that font size. Why have they updated it? It was so much easier. What?
What does it say?
Insert password. Like a well-oiled machine.
It's better.
Well, you used to be able to just click it and scroll it.
Excuse me.
Oh, bless you. There goes someone's ears.
That's blew out someone's ears, yeah.
I don't know what I was typing out.
It's your password, your mother's
I
maiden
can
name.
see that.
Right.
I can't see it, it's just looking...
Book 2,
blurred.
episode 1, Nordland. 1,115 years into the life of the Empire. As the game starts, we are in a time of great peril for the Empire. In the year 1115, it is the 4th year of the Black Plague. 9/10 of the population have died to the disease, which is so fast acting that people aren't able to study it before. Black dots and bruises appear upon their skin. They're normally dead within hours, dark days, and there's been no magical cure, there's been no any remedy. It is literally ran rampage through the streets of the Empire, to the point where Osland and Talabekland, two massive provinces to the east and north, have been denuded of even animal life. As a result, the darkness that has come across the empire itself, you've got road wardens who are in desperation of trying to stop the plague moving, but it is everywhere, but no more serious than it is in Oslo and Taal. Known, the great trading city to the southeast, is decimated. Talabek, other cities have managed to wall themselves up and have pretty much, even at 4 years in, have survived the worst ravages of it. The emperor himself, in the time leading up, bear in mind he's in his 50-odd years of reign. It's not a couple of years in. He's been emperor for over 5 decades. He has been known. He's nicknamed as it's Emperor Boris Hohenbach. He's one of the latest in the line of the Dracworld emperors, and claims descendancy from the original Thuringian berserkers. However, the Drachenwald emperors have been notoriously corrupt, no more so than Boris altogether.
Are they particularly Thuringian? Are they particularly...
There's nothing Thuringian.
That's because of berserking lunatic.
Anyway.
Right.
It's 1,000 years since that tribe fought by the founding of the emperor at the end of the unification wars prior to the Battle of Black Pass as a small, powerful, psychotic tribe. But the Drakvald is the forest that wasn't eventually named the Drakvald over the Thuringian territory. He's the third emperor of the Drakvald emperors, and like I say, 50 years in, he has moved the empire from Altdorf across the northern bank of the Reich to Korreborg. However, when the plague hit, he went to a summer palace in northern France. Happy, quite content to let the plague run its course. With him, he took particularly the rich and beautiful. His reign has been known to grandiose titles, selling literal titles, so that the elector counts running their provinces, the more they paid, the gifts, as it was called, the greater the title, and it gave rise to Grand Prince and Grand Duchess. These titles obviously did not do anything to protect them from plague, but their coin, their purse did. Those nobles that couldn't afford the extortionate price to travel with the emperor wasn't in favour, were pretty enough, effectively, have walled themselves up, further removing central government and management of the provinces. So the empire on the surface is still the empire. Its grand counts answer to the emperor, except in the governing of the whole province, but in the sense that if the emperor makes a law that's empire-wide, they're forced to.
But the various elector counts, they're still in their provinces. They haven't gone with them to...
The grand, some of them have.
All right.
Not all, but some of them have. Some of them, no matter how rich you are, if you're just not attractive enough, you didn't want to see, you didn't want to...
And they're managing their provinces
As they see,
remotely.
yes.
Because
They've left.
they're walled up
Yeah, exactly.
with the emperor. Yeah.
So, in one sense, the provinces were always allowed to manage their own affairs internally, but they answered only to the empire's laws. Under the current, the way that the empire has fractured further under the Drachenwald emperors, it is now more powerful aspects of it. A millennia has passed, but it's almost back to warlords, as they do not answer to any imperial law. And then further that, the plague hit, and 4 years in, it has decimated the population. It has given rise to brigands, outlaws. It has given rise to stories of darker creatures. The forests again are literally filled with beast king and the mutant. No more than the Great Forest is again gone very dark, but the Dracvald Forest itself to the north is reputed to be, so it's west of where we are at the moment, is reputed to be absolutely wild now, full and controlled by dark beastkin, roving bands, effectively herds of creatures, giving their worship to the darker gods. You are Arnung. Arnung is going to be played in this time frame as played by Talbot. Holt is playing Fordel. You two are Northside Norsemen. So at this time they're known as the Norsemen now. Northside back in the day when we first started the campaign, but now you're Norsemen. The children are Norsemen direct. You are not. Your blood hasn't been thinned with Northern blood. For the last 500 years, the north territories of the Empire, from Marienburg to the west to Hargendorf, the coastline have been attacked by Norsemen reavers, Viking effect, like attacks. But over time, some have settled, and it has been 4 or 5 centuries this has been going on. So there are settlements that are very much empire now, but descendant of Northland. You were part of you were children, very young children, and you've got no idea of your past. Your waking memories of effectively of the Taal shrine, the temple that took you in as orphans. Not much written history, but there was a raid 20 odd years ago, and the raid came and went, and you stayed for whatever reason. So you were brought up, as you're well aware now, by the Temple of Taal in Nordland. You know Ansufar, Ulf has been your mentor and taught you the ways of the Longshank Rangers. Introduced you to the Eoner of the forest, the elves, the northern forest. And you've been taught their ways as far as forest craft is concerned. You've excelled at it, and you are what you are. We will be covering a earlier period in your life in the coming weeks, but for the time being, you are of the land, you're bigger, you're broader, you are distinctly to the rest of the empire, you'll look much north, you are a Nordlander. To the Northerners, you can see definitely you're still very much thick Norseman blood. Yeah? Bigger, more powerful, stronger. And in certain towns, you're very well known, but we'll not cover off. As far as Framling is concerned, Framling is being played by Nevin. Framling, you've travelled from the capital, the Nordland forest. You've travelled west. You've sent word to the master there, the Ansufar, to gather 2 particular skilled warriors, which we'll talk about. We'll get into game as you you've reached the temple. So it's taking a few hours to travel west through the forest itself, but the passage of time is
fickle.
Yeah, it could be 2 hours outside. It might have been 2 months. But generally, it works itself out because the forest will look after its own. It will benefit its own as opposed to slow its own down. So you are literally at Hargendorf. Hargendorf itself is quite a large port town. Traders come from the west. It's a port area from Marienburg to the west, which is now its own city-state. Again, another point of contention when you consider the city is running itself like a province in its own right because of the weakened, corrupt, Dracula emperors. Mainly trade comes in from the east, travels down the coast of Marienburg. Back again, and Hargendorf is just a port on the northern shore, safe clause. It's a safe port. To the east, further along the coast, there's a deeper cove, and that's where the Imperial fleet is birthed. But Hargendorf is still a very important place. It's seen quite a large expansion in the recent decades. You're outside of this walled town, this fortified. Everything is walled, everything is fortified. The temple, the Taal, was dwarf made. People can't remember how. It's always been there as far as recorded history. But it has a very distinct dwarven feel. Squat, solid walls, solid oak doors that have weathered the time, unlike human builds. But it is distinctly dwarf. They haven't put dwarven motifs on there. Whoever, for whatever reason, the dwarves built it here, they built it to human scale, but didn't embellish it with dwarven. So it's not a dwarven settlement. It was definitely for humans, but it's lost in time as to why this happened, why it was built. The temple is fairly square, fortified, thick walls, 20-foot high, crenellated. At the centre is a tower, very large, not particularly squat. You can see across the country, it's higher than the tree line, but you are off the beaten track in the forest. Within there is a fortified garrison of Longshank Rangers that will go out into patrol. At any given time, there could be at least a couple of hundred Rangers in here, unless there's a particular need for them to be out in force. There will always be one patrol that will enter the Velven Forest as part of the go-between the peace accord between the temple and its aspect of Cornus, the more aggressive hunt aspect of Taal. They recognise that the Taal is the human name for the same god. When you arrive, it's just after midday. The temple is standing there, squat within the forest itself, with solid stone paved floor, that road that is maintained by the temple. The doors open on your approach. You are expected. In the courtyard itself is very human, like most castles. There's a lot of wooden lean-tos, there's stables, there's a blacksmith here, there's training areas. You can see that there's Longshanks are firing arrows, targeting, there's weapons practicing going on. Straw is everywhere, as well as manure is from places. They have servants there, but generally they are. The Longshanks are not forbidden to have family. It's just a hard thing to maintain. Yeah. But it has happened. There is a recognition that there are menial labours. There's gardens here, there's a vegetable patch, there's a well. But as you walk in, you can see, like I say, against one wall, there's a blacksmith working on blades or horseshoes. There's a Fletcher area working on keeping the bows prepared and arrows made and that sort of thing. Men are fighting, practicing sword work with axe and martial bowmen, horses. The tower is central and slightly to the back. It's got a wooden palisade that leads up to its doorway, which is about 20 foot up in the air, able to be collapsed and therefore fortified. But standing near the centre, even though it's just peaked past summer, it's still very warm. You're protected by the trees. There's the smell of the sea of claws. The salty sea is still fresh in the air. But the place is alive. It feels vibrant. It's full of vigour, sound of clang of metal and combat and or practicing. You can see there's a pig's pen, sheep pen. You're basically hit by the smell of humanity in all the sound. Near the centre, walking towards you, is an elderly man. You can see he's heavily robed, hair grey and held back with a brown headband. Beside him, you can see a member dressed exactly as everybody else on Ranger. Everybody goes armed. There's nobody that you can see that's not carrying a blade of some kind. It is a martial temple. It's designed for one purpose, and that's to defend the glades and be ready at all times. The man moves forward. You recognise him as far.
Yeah.
A bit older than last time you saw him.
Right.
He smiles. You've only met once before, and
but I have been talking to him.
Slight echo from you, James. Old Sea Dog.
Oh, Sea Dog, thanks, mate.
Slight echo.
Yeah, I'm probably being picked up
By me.
by other voices. Okay. Cheers, mate. So he knows I don't mind breaking the...
Well, yeah, it's
I'm
going
going to fix that. Okay. I'll... that's just because it's a bloody voice I've got, isn't it?
It's picking up on 2.
1, 2...
Yeah.
What's that bottom one?
Mine.
How's it picking up on yours?
No.
You got like
Because my
hypersensitive.
gain's really high. Because I've got a voice like a chattel.
Good old mine, isn't it?
He has a
Take up
mouse-like
smoking
voice,
some
my lord.
40 times a day. Coming sounding Barry White.
And sneeze.
Sneeze somewhere else.
Sorry, old sea dog.
You sneeze, he spills.
Well, the fact is you've got like that, and that's it, open it outwards, straight in. Because your gain will be picking up constantly and never shut down. Straight in.
Strain it.
Does it look like that?
I don't know, I can't see it.
Can you see it? If you can, it's not straight.
Boom.
I'm going to try and test my mic talks.
No, don't.
Let the stabbing begin. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. What the hell is that? It is red light.
We're now playing orc.
What I'm going to put is I'll put the gain on, but I'm also going to stick on the noise gate. Which will hopefully not destroy your capability of speaking, but it will stop my voice picking up on your mic. One, 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 one. You're not talking at all now.
On! You have to shout.
Okay, maybe you need to bend yours back in again because you've got that baby voice.
Shut up. 1. 1. 2.
Okay, that's better.
That's better.
Right. The only person I'm going to put gain and a noise gate on. So the noise gate protects you from me.
You've still got 2 lines coming up there.
Right, let's give it a shot.
Oh!
I can't help coughing. I'm not well.
Dun, dun, dun. That's
The
it.
plague.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm in game.
We're all gonna die.
Look, when I go in game, I go 100% in game. I've taken up.
You've
Bubonic-
gone-
yeah,
you've picked up the plague.
I picked up some bubonic plague
How people feel.
just so I can play that role.
Oh.
Right. So, 1,150 days later, you're at the Taal temple at Hargendorf.
Is it 50 or 15?
15. 1
Oh,
1.
good. I got that right. Yeah.
Ulf. Ulf, yeah. So he steps forward and greets you warmly. Framling,
Ulf, my dear friend, it's been some time.
it hasn't yet. You've weathered it well.
Yeah, the years have been kind on yourself, but not as kind as perhaps as myself. But it is what it is. It is the
Gift of the elves.
gift of Taal.
The Aeonir have never been that forthcoming. A lot of our rangers have spent some time with there have noticed that. And myself as a youth, time was different outside of the glades.
It does move in different ways, but be it that may.
We have had some news that some of the temples have fallen over the last 2 years.
Mm.
At this point, there is no, and you start to walk, you turn and walk in the temple. At this time, there's nothing that we can do. We cannot order. None of the other temple none of the other Ansafar are willing to send their warriors into these areas. Oslan and Talbek land are lost to us. Beresad had maintained that once the plague is gone, we will send in patrols to see what needs to be done and take the fight to the enemy. That will obviously take advantage of this, but the temples themselves will have to be there and left. We believe that they have fallen silent and their rangers themselves have never been seen since. None have been across the border.
So we've lost Osland, we've lost
Talabek land.
Talabek. Are we all right with anywhere else, or
Nuln. We lost
Nuln as well?
We lost War's time. in Nung, Wolfenburg and Ostland, and we lost Herrenhausen and Talabheim. However, through war, Tempelhof in Slovenia fell to that creature, this necromancer. He will be, the Barasad has indicated that once the plague has run its course, we will marshal our strength and move on Slovenia to reclaim the forests and the temple.
Yes.
Until such time as we can travel without risk of the plague and spreading it. Unfortunately, we cannot bring our wrath and vengeance.
No, that's a sensible approach. We want to make sure that we minimise our losses to what we've already lost and not increase through foolhardy endeavours in terms of trying to... I think it's correct. Let's wait until this plague's burnt out, and then we'll start reclaiming our temples one by one, with maybe's the one that's in control of this necromancer being the last to look at when we have marshalled enough strength.
As you wish. The next time we communicate with the Barasad, I will relay your instructions, because he was inclined to marshal our strength against the Templar first, to reclaim the one fallen in war, where the ones that are barren to the plague weren't going anywhere. Perhaps our rangers and our the Ansafar, they are potentially captives of war.
In a vacuum, things can enter. We understand what's in where the necromancer's taken over. It's not ideal, and it's something I would think we should eradicate. But I'm concerned that where there is nothing, there's nothing to look out for humanity, where the temples have been taken out by disease. Then we've already seen what's happened in Ostland and Talabheim. We want to reclaim. Humanity wants to reclaim that.
At this point, you've sat at a table. Large hearth is built and low, so it's not a blazing heat. There's no need. Food and drink are brought to you.
Right.
As he sits down at the table with you. There's also rumours of man-like creatures, not beastkin. Those claims before the temples fell that creatures known as ratkin have been seen abroad. There's always been tales of these creatures that came in from the far south and west through through Tilia. But these reports said of these ratkin were walking abroad in the streets, attacking villages and towns. And
some sort of beastkin, or?
Well, at first they were believed to be so. However, whether the beastkin are more goat-like, the worship of the dog gods, given these creatures large horns, and these are smaller than man, but all resemble large rodents.
No.
Hence the name ratkin. Whether they're a breed or a branch of beastmen is still to be seen. We have not moved against them, as they have not been in any of the glades and forests that we still control. But it is likely that when the plague has run its course, the lector counts will ask for our help as scouts and rangers. And we may come into contact with these creatures. I know that you are well travelled. Have you seen of these things?
No, this is news to me. I've encountered many different forms of beastkin. Don't remember ever one particularly being a rodent. As you say, they're all very manner of corrupted nature, but can't say I've ever seen a rodent.
Well, nobody surviving, none of the rangers that we've seen, none of the elves, the Aena, sorry, I don't want to say elf, the Aena, and none of the other temples have actually come into contact with these creatures, so we cannot actually ratify. We cannot confirm that these are nothing more than just rumour from diseased minds.
It'd be useful if one was encountered and to be captured, dead or alive, it matters not. Time for it to be inspected. If we ever get the chance, that would be of use to see whether this is just another form of beastkin, or it is just beastkin that someone's decided it looks more like some sort of rodent than anything else. To be studied. But it just may be part of the many and varied types of foulness that comes from that general type that we call beastkin.
I'll contact Answer for Eagle at Weisbrook. The Reichland is fairly strong, and though plague has reached all corners of the empire, they are the least impacted. Those under Helgi of Bieberhof, they still have a strong control over Stirland. I'll send word to them that they should send out scouting parties to some of the lost territories. Stay away from the habitations of towns that have fallen to the plague. Stick within the forests where, hopefully, if they can encounter one, they can bring one back for interrogation and inspection, study. However, I don't know if you're aware, but Talabekland and Ostland are so devastated. The shrines will still stand, no doubt. The forests will not blink at the 4 years or 5 years or however long this plague takes its course, but it will be long before the population of animals, everything has fallen into this thing. This plague has nothing like this has been seen before.
No, it has been my experience that if once the foulness can be driven out, or once the process has gone through, nature will reclaim its own. But again, I just want to make sure that we get in there to allow nature to reclaim its own and not let something else reclaim the land. But there's no point in sacrificing men by going into a diseased area and coming down to whatever this thing is. Hopefully it is of natural cause.
Well, there are people that say that it's judgment for the weakness of the current emperor. He has already in his on his own reign been known as Boris the Incompetent and Gold Gather for his greed. If it is true that it is judgment, I cannot see Taal decimating the animal life.
No, I would believe you're correct. I think that's coincidental. It may be that Boris, through his lackluster ruling capabilities, has allowed things to creep into the land that could cause things like that. But to say this is a judgment from Taal is ill thought.
There was another theory that Tillian tradesmen entering Nordland brought it with them upon their ships, but we've not been able to ascertain if it's true, as Nordland has effectively
closed down. Is it?
There is no trade coming into the through the great trade city. It has been decimated by the plague itself. But other reports say that the plague was first found in Ostland, and it has travelled west. They're contradictory. At this stage,
is anyone in Tillia? Have we got anyone that's to see whether it's made its way up? If it was to come from Tillia, then you would expect that Tillia would be devastated way beyond us.
There is no word that Tillia itself has been affected by the plague. It is
again,
and that leads again towards the empire being called to judgment by the gods. But I know of no gods that this is the way that they would punish the empire for its Sigma. Certainly not. Ulrich, it would not be his way, and Taal would not affect his own. The animals cannot be held to blame for this.
No. It strikes me not the approach of the gods, not our gods at least.
And we are watchful for, as our order is for, against the northern gods. There is one, our teaching stayed, there was one of your predecessors travelled from the north and spoke of some dark god that was given over to corruption.
There is one of the dark gods that's domain is in corruption, disease, plague, if you like. Could well be within his the remit of that particular creature. In fact, that would be my first thought, if it was indeed anything other than a natural occurrence.
Because if this was if this plague was driven south by the northern gods, then that would potentially be a warning of an invasion. And again, we've had no sighting. The Northmen raids have not increased. We have not seen armies travelling through the decimated country. We still stand upon the borders and look towards Ostland and Talabekland. and see that nothing travels there that was of large size. So there was no warning of a larger army or of an incurrent invasion. Meanwhile, you two arrived several hours earlier. You travelled north to Hargendorf. Yeah. You've arrived in good order. The trip was easy. You are currently one level down at the barrack room. A young, one of the many orphans here in training, and I'd hesitant to say apprentice, a trainee, has come down and said that Ansafar Ulf has said that Framling has arrived. Prepare yourself, as there is no known. Nobody knows about how long Framling wants to be here. So you've ended up getting yourself prepared. You're in the armory. You've already got. You know that your horses are going to be packed, as it were. There's going to be trail rations, rope, things that a standard pack for each horse. But it's up to yourself as you stand in the sub level. Torches burn on the walls beside you, casting a flickering light across the weapon racks and armor racks. You know, you have freedom of choice of what you want to take. You could go with heavier armor, chainmail, a breastplate, if you need to be, but that would slow you down, and that would be more of a confrontational role. You could go with a reinforced ringed leather. It'll give you less protection in physical being struck, but will make you lighter and able to range better. It's really up to you what you want to do. You want to go for a medium ground, and just wear a chain vest and that sort of stuff, and leather cuff. Just have a quick think as you stand there. What you're going to take a cavalry bow, short, curved, very strong and powerful. Do you want to take a long bow, crossbow, swords, spears? You basically got to get yourself prepared. You don't know how long you're going to go away. You don't know why the Framling summoned you. There's no doubt you're going to find out. Or maybe you just want to pick up a couple of weapons and head out and find out what you're doing, and then go back.
Yeah, it'd be hard not to know where we're going and how to prepare for this.
You don't know. That doesn't mean that it hasn't happened, that your particular order has been called by Framling before. Even amongst your order, you don't openly talk about stuff. But the way that Ulf was reacting when he sent word and when he first got here, you get the impression this is the first time Framling has been around for a while. This might conceivably be the first time the order has been called on for a mission.
Take the armory. Take everything.
Just like,
As long as we've got those martial horses.
Yes, especially those.
do we really need 3 catapults? Yes, yes.
That's what the horses are going to use.
dragging the ballista along. Do you know what we need?
Are you going to go up to the main hall?
Yes.
Click
I'm gonna
my
go
gear.
on there. Oh,
Can't figure out what I'm doing.
oh, watch him.
No?
What is he taking?
All right.
Take me reinforced leather, metal van brace, round shield, longbow, spear, signature weapon, Victari short, dagger, punch dagger.
One of these.
Yeah.
Sports singer in the 80s. Taxi?
Trebuchet.
Really mean for a meal?
Back it up here. You really need one of those?
Questioner's tools.
Your question tool.
Questioner tool.
Oh.
I thought they'd give it anyway. Signature blade, questioner tools, always a given.
So you basically taught yourself going, yes, Fordel, I think we should go and see Framling, find out where we're going. We can't really prepare.
He's got literally everything. Alright,
Filleting knives.
Basically, yeah. So you get one of the.
So I've gone cross between light and
Yeah.
some heavy.
I'd hate to say tooled up the fuck. Oh, that's this one.
That's plate metal. Duh.
So you go to one of the trainees, take that upstairs and by the horse, put it by my horse, sort of thing.
I'm going lightweight. I'm going to go stealth mode. Takes the pot helm off, puts a smaller helm on.
What did you go for crossbow?
Cloak.
Yeah.
You went for longbow. I'll go for crossbow then.
Ninja cloak.
I'm going for
A short crossbow.
It was short, like a crossbow.
Like a shotgun.
a short
Shotgun.
short crossbow.
You want a short bow?
Short bow.
A short crossbow.
You want a horseman's bow?
What? Something that's rapid and close range. More
So it's not a crossbow.
No.
But you want a crossbow and a short bow.
A Gatling gun.
Yes.
So you want a crossbow and a short bow.
It's a really bad
So a
crossbow.
crossbow will punch straight through plate mail.
I need something. I want to be something up close and like more, not long,
Knife.
not that close. I'm saying for in terms of bow range wise.
So a crossbow pistol.
Is there a crossbow pistol?
There is a crossbow pistol.
Oh, I'll take crossbow pistol.
But
Okay.
they're not very good at when you're they're like short
But
range.
he's got range. He's got the range one,
Yeah,
isn't
we're trained.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I know.
he's like, Fring! Can you help? Pick. No, not yet. Fring! They're getting
If you've got
closer.
another bow, there's 10 of them. I managed to take down 5 before the charge in. Ding! I got one.
Yes.
Oh, gotcha. If we had 2 longbows,
Yeah, but watch.
you can carry whatever. You basically don't know what you're doing. You're going to have a horse, you assume, unless you're going to go, right, lads.
One of
On
everything.
a horse.
So you can go right
Fire a longbow on
crossbow.
a horse.
To the mountains.
Now, a crossbow's a big, heavy thing. It punches through metal. It'll punch through steel, through the cross.
But it's just
through the
slow.
crossbows. But yeah, it'll fire half this amount. You know, the longbow, longbow, short bow, curved bow, cavalry bow. You're not going to take every one of the bows. You're going to basically go for some.
Just like a Christmas tree turns up.
Taking the cavalry bow.
Just covered in everything.
You're
Like,
taking a short cavalry bow as well.
Because you're going to be on horseback.
You wouldn't be able to fire a longbow from horseback.
really? You call yourself talented? You're usually like right on its back. Yeah, like, just using your feet like standing on the saddle, controlling it only by your will.
I'm carrying the horse. The horse is using it.
That's right. Meanwhile,
So you're like, we shall wait. We need to. Oh.
I'm
Random
I'm
stuff.
taking a blowpipe. Really?
I don't trust Rand with this.
The crossbow pistol is
Catapult.
obviously considered to be a dishonourable weapon. You don't care.
Okay.
Especially when you cover it in
It's
poison.
not really good for penetrating armour. In fact, it doesn't. Or that's why it's dishonourable, because it's a small but powerful. You know, and it's used for like sort of
Assassination.
shadows.
Yeah. Because it's small.
I
And you
don't
can
like it.
You don't like it?
No.
Okay.
I don't. No.
Wait a minute. Clink, clink.
Put it back.
What about this? Bolas.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
What's-
painting his
What's the
armour
biggest
black.
weapon there?
Biggest storm.
There's a pike, but you know, it's not normally. It is there, but it's not normal. It's not.
Now we're talking.
Range 22 foot.
Passing the lance.
biggest like weapon wise.
Halberd.
Length wise. Strength.
Well,
Brute.
battle. Yeah.
Warhammer.
Long-hafted Viking axe for getting over the top of the shield wall and chopping people's heads in.
I got one of them.
Okay. So not Warhammer. We have that as well.
I'll have that as well.
Right.
And a warhammer as well.
Yeah.
Horse warhammer, or like one from using from cavalry, big long one, or
Yeah.
these lot are going to be great running through the trees. Ah, shit! Where are you going to put the pike? Handy for vaulting across walls as well.
That's a horse.
That's for the horse. Yeah, the horse is
He
having that.
was so conservative. Sees him going grenades, you know, he's like RPG.
All right.
Right, he's standing with a 9mm.
Yeah, didn't want that. What does this do? Everything.
Holy hand grenade.
Yeah. So I'm just going for the biggest damaging weapon that I can find.
So guys, stealth mode. Oh shit! Clink, 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 clink.
Yeah.
Right.
Big huge
So,
axe.
so you know, obviously there is fighting from horseback. They generally have longer hafted weapons because you're up here.
Yeah.
Right, but they're not. Though they can be used, they're not exactly the best weapon to be standing on the ground with. But they can still be deadly. But it depends on the situation, you know. So if you want a long-hafted cavalry hammer, for example, it's designed specifically for Miro horseback, smashing people as you go by. But that doesn't mean that you can't actually have a standard hammer. Still learn it. You know, you've learned how to use it. So
The ones carried by foot soldiers weren't big long things.
yeah.
They were short, punchy type stuff.
So-
But there wouldn't be much on a horse because you go swing and miss everyone because you're too high.
Okay.
What you need is a morning star.
Oh.
No.
Flail.
Yeah, flail. Military flail.
What you've got to consider is, first of all, you were right in thinking that you're going to talk to Framling, find out what's going on, and that will dictate the equipment that you need.
He didn't care. He was just going tooled up.
Yeah.
Completely.
You
I love
basically
never
went,
that good.
I'm going tooled up to the tits.
Yeah. And beyond that, he was even sharpening his tits.
Let's go for a big warhammer.
As in...
Not like for a horse, just for
Right,
fighting
okay.
in close range.
Yeah.
Single-handed
Yeah.
Warhammer or two-handed Warhammer?
200 one.
Okay.
No messing around there.
No.
All right. So you enter the main hall. Obviously, a lot of your equipment has been taken away to be, attached to the horse harnesses, etc. I've assumed that you've had your ballistic missiles and all that are gone. They've been sent out with the trainee. You just stand there with your sword, or have you rocking up with a hammer on your
Yeah,
sword?
hammer.
So, first of all, you think, look at the size of that hammer, and then you realise that it's tiny in the hands of this guy.
Right.
You know, so when you were saying two-handed,
Yeah.
you can swing it one hand.
So it's Wolf and his tickle stick from Johnny. Can't remember his name is from.
so
Wolf Sternhammer. My tickle stick.
So it is a two-handed weapon, but there's basically these two
Johnny
Norsemen,
Alpha.
these two Norsemen enter the hall.
Should be on Ulmakor.
They look menacing by the sheer dimensions. There's a grim look upon them. You recognise the hilts of the swords that they carry, and realise that they are of the order.
Mm-hmm.
You see before you, but yeah, at the table, you see Ansafar Ulf, and sitting beside him is, what do you look like now?
Exactly the same. Without just homespun woodsman type clothing, but exactly the same. But everything's like there's no.
So you kept your head
Yeah, yeah.
shaved, it's still got the, so basically before, what about the markings?
No, they're gone.
So basically, you see a man that's obviously spent some time in the wild. There's that sort of slightly wild man look about him. His hair is in the style of the old warriors. It's fallen out of fashion now, but it's distinctive. It's almost plaited across the top and down into a long ponytail. The side has been shaved clean. You kept yourself shaven as well, didn't you? Clean shaven, or have you allowed the beard growing?
No, I had a beard when the last time. I was clean shaven originally, and the beard came in.
And a long beard. But yeah, he's got that sort of. You'd estimate him being around about his late 30s, early 40s. But his eyes are there's sort of they've got that look of they've seen things, they've travelled.
No.
They look like very the sort of like grey slate piercing stare. And he's sitting at the table. You can see by the way that Ansafar Ulf is sitting and bent into conversation that this is without a shadow of a doubt Framling. The master, his body language is of someone he's in front of somebody of great importance. And you've never seen this guy before, so you automatically will assume that this is Framling. You see these two monsters, well over 6 foot tall and broad to boot, very powerfully built, in a state of war. One of them casually carrying a two-handed hammer upon his back, as if he was carrying a broom. Yeah.
So they've come through the door. Yeah.
Yep.
Gentlemen, come sit down. Let me introduce myself. My name's Framling. I've been part of our order and our society for quite some time. And I have need of your expertise. I have need of your spirit. I have need of your unique set of skills and your willingness to utilize those skills on a rather dangerous endeavor, but of importance, huge importance to our fraternity. We seek to root out a potential evil or find knowledge that an ancient evil may or may not have come back in these sad times. Can't promise you anything other than hard times. I can promise you excitement. but it'll be hard times with it.
Definitely good.
This is all I need.
I'll leave it to yourselves to determine what instruments of warfare that you might require. All I need is your willingness to carry out everything and anything that we need to have to get done. It is of the highest importance.
Anything and everything is what we do well.
Then you're the very men that we need.
The only men.
Let's hope so. Ulf, these two guys, your best?
They are. We have kept them close to Nordland because of their Norse descendancy. They will be more noticeable further south you go.
You will stand out in Altdorf. I'll tell you that.
Why is that?
Clearly, you've been eating a few too many meals compared to the smaller denizens of Altdorf, and that way you will stand out. But that's useful. There's
You're
not.
amongst the other orphans, you tower above them. You're clearly. This is not new to you.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Why is that?
He says, looking down at everyone as usual.
Why is that?
6'7".
Trying to be modest here.
Why? You are literally corded muscle, big crazy barbarian.
Why will he upset her? Why is that?
Baby's arm, it's got the ear going.
Oh my god!
It's eating a loaf.
Extra nutrition. Side of hog spears it.
Takes a loaf for bread. What's on the And you're going.
It's useful.
Which means I stand out. Does yours not do that? Nope. What about these?
It's got barbs on it. What the hell? Handy for spearing fish. Useful in the wild. Oh, okay. Related to a cat, are we?
The beasts like it.
You always like it.
I mean, from your part, obviously, you know that you answer absolutely 100% to, and you know your respective position that you hold. You are part of an order within an order. Therefore, you have special relations. You've got a special level. You are amongst these. They all know that you're something different. But you answer only to Ulf, and you know all the answer, including the Barrisad, answer to Framling. So he is an absolute authority in this instance. Yeah. So yeah. You're obviously
Well,
going
we've heard stories of him anyway. We know we brought up the fact that we know him as the immortal son. Taal, so yeah,
Allegedly.
yeah. So he looks normal. He looks old-fashioned from his hairstyle and all that sort of stuff. But he looks like anybody else that's around you. But there is something about those eyes. There's something about him that does make you very few. In fact, at this stage in your life, nobody makes you pause. You are supremely confident in your abilities and your authority level and your ability to deal out very swift punishment when needed. But there is something that gives you pause about him. You just feel something emanating around him. There's almost a barrier between you and him. You can feel like this electrical energy around him, but you don't. You can't see anything. You just you've never experienced that sort of thing before. From your part, you know that it's the humord, and those sensitive to it will not be able to see it necessarily, but they can feel their presence. And you're just used to it now after Framling's been around a bit. So yeah, Ulf. Yes, they've been highly trained. They are free to travel the elven forests, the northern Nordland ranges, as well as any. They've been trained beyond that of the Longshanks rangers as well. They are two of the best, and when you leave, if you need to leave Nordland, they're going to be better suited to anything that the rangers can do.
Then they're ideal for this mission, for this journey. Gentlemen, we travel to Fornam Ur.
You see Ulf, he straightens his old back, nearly creaking audibly, his eyes widen slightly, can't hide it. You're very, we know that you're capable of seeing slight changes in people's demeanour, and you can see it catches Ulf almost He nearly hides it, but he's caught off guard by the name Fornam Ur. Have you heard of Fornam Ur?
Yes.
He said, looking at these notes.
Yes.
And you understand that it is the birthplace of our order.
Yes.
It is the most holiest of shrines and sites. The Brotherhood himself commands from there. It is said that his rangers are the best of all the orders. You will represent Hargendorf and you're in its best light. It is truly a wild place. Lord Framling, I shall leave you to discuss your mission with these men.
Thank you, Ulf.
Anything that I'm to be made aware of, no doubt I will.
I'll let you know everything you know, and my friend, hopefully I will see you shortly, and I wish you well.
May Taal bless you all on this journey. He stands and leaves. People give you a wide berth. Generally, people are giving you a wide berth anyway.
Probably for these two.
Exactly, yeah. You're just oblivious to it, and you're used to it anyway. One of us is scaring them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Chomp, chomp, chomp. Stop that. Is that normal?
So yeah, you've got a table there. You've got some maps before you. You're sitting in the main chamber, and you're given a wide berth to discuss and plan as needed. Though obviously it could be quite light as far as initial planning.
Yep. So Fornam Ur is roughly about there. He says, marking on the map. Roughly. We need to get there as quickly as possible. As Ulf has just told us, Badlands. I would suspect the quickest way is to go through the Elven Forest, seeing as we have access to that. And then from there, it has been a while since I've travelled, and therefore I need your assistance on the best way to get to roughly 2 days north of Altdorf. 2.5, 3 days, as I remember. It's been a while since I've been there, but I seem to remember we could do that. Well, let's make the use of the liberties of the forest. We will be safe there. We'll be unscathed and we can prepare ourselves. And then I imagine it'll all get a bit more grim and a bit nastier after that. What Ulf does not know, and what you need to know, is this particular enclave of ours has gone quiet. It never goes quiet. Ever. And it has. And as Ulf has said, this is our holiest of holy. This is the centre of our power. This is the birthplace of our order. And I have fears that whatever's got in there is an old enmity. It's something that I hadn't thought to see ever again. Hoped to never hear it again. And hopefully it hasn't. If anything, I just hope that the plagues hit, and that would be desperately sad. But nature sometimes is cruel, tooth and claw. If it's something else, something grimmer, then that's something we need to eradicate. And we need to eradicate with savageness and totality. We'll see what's there, but you have to be prepared. If I say we kill and slaughter everything we find there, then that's what we do. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what you think it is. We go there, we find out what's befallen our central enclave, or capital, if you like, and then if needs be, we kill everything. That causes any concern, gentlemen, that causes any problems, now's the time to say, I haven't got time to come back and find anyone who perhaps can handle a more queasier style of work. If not, you also understand that this may be a one-way trip.
I don't think you understand, Framling, that I and Fordel and I, on the queasy time.
That's good. I don't take anyone along against their wills.
Killing comes easy to us.
We may have to do a lot of that on the way. But we have...
We will kill anything.
Well, you might have to kill anything as well. It may have to kill things you've never seen before. And they may appear in forms that look a lot sweeter than they actually are. But I need to know that if I tell you to kill it, you kill it. It may look like someone's sweet old granny, And if I tell you that you need to smash its head in, you smash its head in.
I will die.
And we know what we need to do. So I'm at your disposal in terms of how we get there. You've travelled these lands more recently than I have. I have been away for quite some time. You know roughly where we've got to get to, at least until we get close to the border towards Fornam Ur, and then my memories will surface, I'm sure, and we can get to our old enclave. But you need to get me there as quickly as we possibly can, and hopefully with the least amount of hassle.
So just quickly out of game, a good halfway point, about a week's travel from here. If you cut through the forest, you'd be aware. Once you've explained, so you could spend about 3 days, 2 days travelling in a southeasterly direction, following the roads and staying outside the forest. You know that'll take you via from Hargendorf out to Schäfen, Zweidorf, Stavern, and then onto Alfhausen. From Alfhausen, that becomes a direct path straight down the edge of the border on the Marienburg, the Middenheim-Ehrengrad road, and then that will be quite a hard slog gets you to the Nordland Prince. You could cut off a couple of days as you want to where that takes you straight through the forest, and you'll hit Alfhausen, Lothberg and Nordland Prince, then Alfhausen. You know that a good stopping point for you is if you, depending on the trip south, if you go as far as Krimmenhagen, that's a good place, that's a temple, and you know of Ansefar Everick.
Mm-hmm.
From there you can either continue down the road or you could cross onto the river, and potentially that would be a safer journey. So one of the things would be, in your mind, would be probably Grimmenhagen as a stopping point. But once they leave Nordland, you're in no man's land at that point.
Yeah.
Well, we may as well make use of our temples if we can.
Yeah, and Grimmenhagen is on the path, it's on the journey, and once you get to that point, it's like you say, that would it's estimated to be about the mid-period of your journey. It's about the halfway point. It's past the Northern Prince by a couple of days, and then from there you can then branch. You've got two options. Continue down the old Imperial Road, or head through the forest and to the river. But before that, you can't access the Talabek with any,
there's no one.
too dangerous.
Yeah.
There's no real access to it.
No one's working that river anyway, is there?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So from your guy's point of view, the advice that you'd be looking at there, what he was basically asking is, do you go through the forest as you've already said, or do you want to travel east through the towns and villages? Again, another thing that you'd be thinking of is how openly are you wanting to travel. Unless you've got no choice to travel to the forests outside of Nordland is dangerous. No matter what you do, you want to stick to the kind of the road at this point. But you've got to consider that there's a plague. Cities, Nordland's plague free at this point, but you'll clearly have a path being followed. If one thing you'd want to consider is asking them about, is there agents abroad that we need to avoid? Do we need to keep it low key? That would that would impact on your journey. But once you get to like I say, Lothberg, from there is only one direction you can go. It's this first part is where you need to do a bit of queuing over.
Well, we don't want to draw attention to ourselves. Following on this conversation, we don't want to. I don't want to be identified. If there are agents, if there's something happened, and it isn't just the plague, then there may be agents abroad. There may be agencies seeking signs of my return. In which case, I want to try and stay as low key as possible, and keep low key until we eventually can get. The whole point is, I want to scout out and see what's there. I don't want them to know about if it is what I fear. I don't want them to know about me with time to prepare for me.
So you want to go the fastest route?
I want to go the most low key. That's the
Forest.
forest. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be seen. People who know of me and know me I will stand out. And I don't want to give them any. I want to give them at least forewarning of me being here. Hopefully, they think I'm dead. Hopefully, they don't know anything about me. Think I've gone. And I want to get as close as possible. I want to get into the old temple and see what's going on. So low key as possible, and as quickly as we can. The longer we delay, the more chance that I don't know what, but I have my suspicions. So yes, if the forest is the quickest way, let's do that. Let's go through the forest. And then after that, what are we thinking? Travel by the river?
River, probably be the chance of.
Presumably it's just the boatmen on the river who can be persuaded to take us where we need to go.
You're aware of obviously the shortcut itself, and based on the maps that you've got before you, you're still looking at around 4 or 5 days travel on land before you can get to the point in the river that you can be yeah.
So where will we go once we get out the forest? Do you know where we can head to? We head to our temples?
That'll probably be stop.
Yeah.
How far is it away from temple?
So once you it should take you around about if you're cutting off the big eastern branch, you should get to Crimmenhagen around about day 5 in the afternoon. Based on bear in mind that this is technically outside of your. By the time you get here, you've left Nordland.
Yep.
Yeah, you're now just escorts as opposed to guides. Effectively, your guide aspect isn't really going to be taken into place because you're cutting most of Nordland out.
All right. Okay.
All right. So you're going to be there as protector and escort. Once you get to Holzbeck, Grimmenhagen, which you've seen, you've been there, you haven't. It takes about 3 hours journey through the forest to the river before you get there. At which point, obviously, if you've sent word or you wanted to communicate with the temple with answer for Everett and let him prepare, he can get his rangers ready and you can have a full escort to the forest to get to the boat. You can organise that sort of side of things, no doubt. But that's the River Taube, which eventually becomes the River Talabek as you travel downriver. Once you get into the river, it's definitely going to be the safer and faster because it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, instead of having to spend hours hiding in the dark, it'll be 30 hours straight. It'll cut entire days out of your journey. But to get onto the river before then would be effectively suicidal. This is already going to be an extremely highly dangerous journey. But north of the Taube, you are literally on the border with the Plaguelands at that point. And you just don't know what the hell's going to happen there. It is not policed.
Well,
Even if it is policed, which is going to be the road, you're not necessarily. Well, this is the bit that you would be telling them about where the road wardens can't necessarily be trusted. They are still the Emperor's men, but there is rumour that people have
Going more.
there's been victims to them that are not necessarily
because of the
because of the plague. So you find out more. That's the sort of stuff that you'd be discussing. That Nordland is very much, from your point of view, you don't know what the other province is doing, but it's it has some law, but it is still very much a province of its time. It's self-governing.
So
Criminal element is extremely active in Nordland.
So in terms of Anfora Everick at Grimmenhagen, we could. Is that something Wolf would do, or in terms of getting in touch with him to let him know that we're on our way?
You could do it, yep.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to do it, you could as you travel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, I can do that. Sorry. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. The plan would be let him know in good time that we're expected.
So the other thing is, from your point of view, from me as well, is you're relying pretty much on every option, mundane option, over any other option that's
Yes. At this.
So Ulf will send a raven.
Yeah. No, don't do that. I will.
You can't send a ranger because unfortunately you'd be travelling at the same speed as them.
Yeah, no, exactly. I know.
So
Yeah.
the rangers could travel, send word, meet up with another band and all that, but you're actually going to be straight lining it. You would actually be faster than the message that's trying to get ahead of you.
Yeah, no, I want to keep that to a minimum. I don't want a raven to be intercepted by accident. Our codes could be broken. Who knows? No, once we get to the edge of the forest, I'll use the flame and speak to him direct.
Of course, you know that the elven forests are protected, so it'll be safe.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Inside
the forest, and then how many days have we got before we get to Grimmenhagen from outside the forest?
You guys would estimate it. You'd probably be arriving in the evening of day 5.
All right.
At the moment, depending on how the elven forest travels. Yeah.
Day 5 from now, or day 5 from the forest?
From now.
From now.
Yeah, if the forest
Doesn't slow
the
us down.
spirit of the forest is wishing to benefit your journey.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll wait. That's what we'll do, and then we'll let him know that we're approaching, so that he can be aware that we're coming to visit.
They're looking for you. They not want to escort to the
No, I don't think that.
want itself in control off certain,
Yeah.
because that way the patrol is still doing its change.
Or we just kill them all.
Yeah, we could blend in with any patrol that goes out for normal. Or I mean, I will speak to I'll speak with Everick, and he may wish to send his patrols to the river anyways to see what the activity is like in that area before we even get there. We don't want to draw suspicion to ourselves, so I would like to keep it as per normal. The main thing is secrecy is at utmost, and speed, so we can get to where we've got to get to as quick as we can before potentially any enemy knows that we're there. Right. Are you all prepared? Do you have everything you need?
Just about.
Said goodbye to anyone that you need to say goodbye to?
Done with.
Okay, so to recap, as far as you're concerned, you've got reinforced leather armour,
Yep.
you've got a shield, round shield,
Yeah.
you've got a longbow, your normal dagger, as well as your tools of the trade,
Punch daggers.
and you've got a punch and dagger. Is that it?
No, I've got the cavalry bow for
And
the
the cavalry
horseman.
bow as well.
Spear.
Okay.
Little vambrace.
Yeah, well, but consider that as part of your armour. Okay, but no heavy headgear like that. And obviously, you don't have to add hooded cloaks. I mean, you use them to, that's a standard. Yeah.
That's for stealth mode. Clang, clang. Boom.
You just put it on. In this case, if it's not written, you won't have it.
Right.
Going forward, yeah, unless it's like, well, would you? You have the two-handed heavy warhammer. You've got your normal tools of the trade. You've got your sword,
Yeah.
cloak. Any particular?
I'll take a longbow.
Yep.
Want some heavy armor.
Heavy?
Yeah.
So what's your concept of heavy? Are you talking
I'm assuming that I'll be trained in it.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
fine.
So
you talking about full plate
You're
mail?
talking about plate mail, you're talking about plate and chain mail, you're talking about part plate, some chain.
Chest plate.
Horberg or
So the Hoburg is basically you can have this leather or chain, you can have leather and chain, then you can put a plate, you can actually have you can have like what we used to be considered as your half knights. At this time, men at arms, for example, are wearing a metal helmet with chainmail. They wear a chainmail shirt with leather underneath. On top of that, they will then have a chest plate and back plate. They then have leather, thick leather pants, and then they have half metal plates on their forearms and shins. That's considered to be heavy infantry. Obviously, knight is full-on plate mail. You're definitely not going to be moving to the forest. That's full-on battle out on the field somewhere. You can do that because you're a big ass guy. You can carry this stuff.
as you clank through the forest.
But it's a hell of a bit of kit.
probably say chain, mixture of chain then. So because I want some maneuverability if I've got I'm using it two-handed.
So chainmail on top of
Yeah.
leather.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got chainmail vest over the head, basically covers up to your shoulders. Yep, and obviously front and back. You can have the sleeve stuff, and then you can have a long coat. The long coat would be very much like if you remember, Aragorn was wearing a long chainmail coat under his tabard at the Battle of Helm's Deep. So you couldn't necessarily, you could see bits of it, but it goes down to just by his knees. Yeah, it's split down the side of it, so it's easily moved. But it is, it's heavy stuff, and you wear that on top of leather, padded leather, and then you can stick something over the top of that.
Okay, yeah.
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 So mail coat. Okay.
It's saying that got a big, massive hammer.
You can swing one-handed. Yeah, I mean, if you use both, it'll really bring it down with a serious clout. Okay, so longbow, mail coat, leather,
Okay,
and a warhammer.
I've got a sword.
A normal sword, or you take an extra sword.
I've got my usual sword.
I mean, technically, I'm assuming that when you see him walk out there, you're not really put out by this.
No.
You know, because chainmail isn't like,
No.
stuff he can get away with it, and he walks very easily with it.
Yeah, I would. It's only if he'd come out in absolute full plate mail, I'll be like,
Yeah.
well, that's not going to be much use.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I still have my two. I'll have two hand axes.
And fur.
Yeah,
and
raw stench.
well, that's it. You have to admit, so time you will be technically an elven gob.
Yeah.
You know, so even the most dour is still elegant.
Yeah, that's right. I've got like that.
Like this. I'm just in elven peasant gob.
Yeah.
Fucking three.
I was going to say three, like 2 buttons.
Waistcoat.
Yeah.
Well, this is the peasant kit. This is the stuff that we used to clean out the dully.
Brogued shoes.
Yeah.
Whoa. And a hat rakishly at one side. What? What? This is just
peasant.
this is my painting the house clothes.
Tabard, which is the shield that goes over your chainmail. With a bear in mind that you know what order you're part of, but the stag's head in itself is still the temple's sign. So you could easily have the green tabard with the yellow trim with the stag on the front, indicating that you are a warrior of Taal. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah?
Mm.
Unless he's like, I don't want anyone to know that we're...
No, I mean they're common. It's not. There's nothing to be ashamed of seeing your talent. It doesn't draw attention because it's like saying, "I worship Ulrich." Really, in the Empire? Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So is that what you want to do? You've got like an official look about you in that sense. Yeah. You are declaring yourself a Taal. Well, that's sort of like well, you are.
Yeah, in this land shouldn't be a problem.
Especially in the north, Antalbeck land. Yeah. You're not heading into any of the major cities, and if you're going to be hanging out in Nordland, people are like, what the hell is he doing?
Just on my shield.
But then,
in full battle.
but then it wouldn't matter if you were wearing bloody what's the I can't remember the goddess of fruit and niceness. I can't remember one of the original ones. You know, like the
Media?
yeah. You could be dressed like that, but some 7-foot hairy Norse. Oh, look at one of the healers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she'll like, oh, goddess of wine. Like, really? You didn't draw attention.
I knock out horses.
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to use a stick. I do. It just happens to have a brick on the end of it. Alright. Well, it takes very little time to throw the chainmail across you, throw the surcoat on, big, thick, heavy belt, cinched in with your sword scabbard on there, belted through. Your cloak comes over the top of you. You've got your reinforced heavy leather with sort of the rings across the outside of it that protects you from basically slashes. A heavy blow to your chainmail could still penetrate, will still break the mail. You're very much going for the whole speed and not taking any direct hits.
Yeah.
But you're clearly the more heavily armed, even though you're the one carrying the shield. You're obviously going for. There's distinctly when you're looking at them. He's obviously leaning towards the
Shock troops.
chasing the enemy.
Yeah.
Big swing and double-handed hammer. But both take bows with them. Both have got long bows. He's got the added curve cavalry bow as well. They are armed like a small regiment. As they climb up on climb up on griffins. As they mount the two very large horses that are simply there for their bulk and size. Because contrary to belief, it wasn't a matter of, well, there's a small horse, well, I'll get on that, because that horse ain't going to be able to go for it. 200 pound monster sitting up on a riding horse's back, it's going to have problems. So the horses are...
Mongo.
Yeah, so they are on two big horses.
Right. I'm on Bill. Come on, Bill!
Just
check it out. Dressed like Errol Flynn in bloody one of the Robin Hoods. Like, really? This is just my going out weather, Like.
He said, opinion on
Sight saddle.
This This is how we used to do it.
Hey ho!
This is how a real man.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not again.
Great summer blood.
Attack! And the enemy fled. The spawn of hell went, oh no!
Right. So,
All right.
it's around about, it's past the height of the day. The sun is on the decline. It's been about a couple of hours as you ride out of the temple.
Mm.
You've got enough food to get you there and back. Dried rations, you've got some water skins, you've got some rope, that sort of thing, some basic trail equipment. On the horses, the saddles, they are meant for comfort as opposed to speed, and they're packed up at the back with a bedroll and that sort of thing. Yeah. You've got the bow at the front, you'll have the spear near the front as well. Your weapons, for the most part, that you're not actually got scabbed yourself, will be at points either along the length of the saddle or at the front where it needs to be.
Mm.
You head south, east, and very quickly leave the lands of Man. Though technically Nordland surrounds you as you plunge into the Nordland forest. You entirely enter the Elven lands very quickly. That magical realm, as it is known, as it does for you, opens up around you. You know that you see the realm as the way that the elves want you to see it. You know that if you came in without invitation, you came in with a dark heart, effectively without invitation, full stop, the forest would have a completely different look. It would be a maze of darkened tunnels and overgrown thickets that are designed and crafted by the magic users to bewilder you, and in the best case to lure you back outside, but in some cases to lure you into thick, dense hedgerows to be slaughtered, depending on the threat that they perceive you as. What you see, of course, is a light-filled forest of basically teeming with life. The road ahead of you clear. All three of you have been to this forest many times. And there's no discernible trail that you can see that you would know of. It seems that the forest will produce the trail or road that best suits your purposes, whether you've said it out loud or you've asked for permission, but you are given the freedom of it. You've been travelling, it is nice and relaxed, the temperature's just right. You've not seen any of the Iona. There's no reason to unless you sort them out. You've probably been on the road, you estimate, though, based on just a guess, because the sun doesn't move, it doesn't become darker. You've estimated about 2 hours journey when you start seeing the forest thinning ahead of you. You can see the yellow sort of sun-bleached grass and the packed earth trail road that heads north and south. It's only been a couple of hours.
Well, no, we're already at the edge of the forest.
Down to the forest.
Right. Before we leave the confines of and the security of this forest, I'll just get off my horse, go to one side where somewhere there was a bit of clearance, so not directly in the boulders of a tree, dig out like a little earth pit, get some dried branches, twigs and stuff like that, and create a small fire. Start that process of starting a small fire.
So you can see what he's doing just inside. He's still, where he is, that anybody who was travelling on the road is clear, but anybody that would stand there would not be able to see him. You're not that far out, but it's clear enough to see the road. Are you guys just sort of sitting on horseback, waiting, or do you right?
Yeah.
So he builds a fire. You reach out.
Yeah, I start take up a cross-leg position, start gazing at the flame, and start calling out for Efric. Evric.
Yep. Are you guys just are you staring at him, taking any particular notice, or are you looking out for threats and looking on the road? Are you continuing out onto the road to see if there's anything to be seen? You know that there's absolutely zero danger. There's zero threat to him in this, even at this confine.
No, we're fairly relaxed.
You can't see them. you're confident that the EN are nearby and watching you, guarding you anyway.
So we can see what's going out.
Yeah.
But they can't really see.
No.
That to our
Just to ride, you don't really see him. He's doing whatever he does. You're basically right. Your job here, you're technically a bodyguard, let's be honest, and also kill as and when needed. That was the brief, effectively. Keep them protected. That's your job. So yeah, you ride a little bit further forward just to look up and down the road. You can see that from this point, the river itself is sluggish. It is not really wide enough, and it's not been used for ships ever since the plague, for boats, etc. It's across the river. You can see the land is devastated. You can see there's a sickness, amazement, almost a cloud upon it. The ground itself, you can see at this point in the river, bloated corpse of wildlife. There's you can tell on the eastern bank, the plague has done its job. It is, and it's evident, even this close. But you're aware that you've seen this before. The road itself is completely clear. There is no visible people on the road to the north or the south. When I say north and south, it's not strictly. It's kind of like that. Yeah, but from a point of view, that from here, but it's out of sight because of the land rising. Alfhausen is to the north, and to the southeast will be the Nordland Prince, the fortified town. It's still now that you can see the sun. You would estimate that you will probably get to the Nordland Prince in about 2 or 3 hours journey. So the sun will still be up. It'll take you around you're probably there about 4 or 5 o'clock. Yeah. Obviously, you're not thinking of it as in 4 or 5 o'clock, but just to give you an idea of the sort of passage of time, yeah?
Wasn't that Northern Plinth going to be before the temple?
Or? Days before the temple. Yeah.
Because that was going to take 5 days to get to the temple.
Yeah. So basically, meanwhile, you reach out and
I want to speak to
Everig's face becomes visible.
Yeah.
You can see his neatly forked beard and bushy eyebrows of the Ansefar of Halsbeck. My Lord Framling.
Everett, my friend, how fares you?
Things are fine in Grimmenhagen. The plague has not reached us yet. We are still protecting our glades and our borders.
It's good news. Good news. I wish it was the same throughout all our lands. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I'm forewarning you that I will be arriving. We've already done like 2 days, so it's 3 days' time.
So it's been 2 hours.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 4 days.
4 days. Yeah.
You're not going to include today's journey.
No.
Time you get the Northern, so you're in about 4 days' time.
Okay. I will be arriving in approximately 4 days' time at the temple. I'll seek passage and help to get to the river, but mainly to seek some comfort and solace at your temple, and to give you forewarning that I'll be arriving, so as to not be too much of a surprise when I turn up. I'm bringing a couple of men with me who are there to help me work my way through the wilderness. So there'll be 3 of us. But just to let you know, I will let you know if there's any other issues, but expect to see me in 4 days' time.
I'll send my rangers to the north, to our borders, to await you. Will you be coming via the forests or the road? You're coming down through the road.
Oh, coming down through, yeah.
They'll be waiting for you to escort you to the temple. I will also send the rangers east to the riverbank to secure a boat.
Yeah.
Secure a boat, and to make sure that the trail is cleared.
Yes. In terms of secrecy, I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to keep my visit as low key as possible. And perhaps in terms of going out with one of your patrols, nothing extraordinary. If it can be fitted in with to make it, if anyone's watching you, to try and not make it seem like anything untoward is going on. And if I can try and fit in with something that encompasses that, so no fanfare. If that could be something we could do, I'd prefer that. I would forego the protection of your men at the border for secrecy, as opposed to if they're already on a normal route, a normal trail, this is part of the normal routine, the normal patrol, that'd be perfect. If it's not, I will meet you in the temple in 4 days' time, and then we can move out to the river afterwards.
We've pulled the patrols back from the towns and the road. There's been clashes with local militia and the road wardens. They believe that being the men of the Empire, that their mission is of greater importance than ours. They do not give us the respect as followers of Taal and the rangers that we are. We have lost several of our rangers to these confrontations. It has come to the point where I've issued orders to defend themselves as equal as they are attacked. Because in the past we have always followed the old laws. But it is almost that we have no real concern from the creatures in the forest. It is more the threat of man
On the roads.
lawless times.
In that case, it may be better that if you you do meet me when I come up through the road into your territory.
I will tell them to stay away from the confrontation, stay within the tree line. We could still pass beyond their ability to see us, to avoid confrontation unless we have no choice. But I would recommend an escort back in. Do not worry about the creatures of the forest. They are not something of our concern. Their numbers are culled regularly. We have been successful in that, and the plague has helped somewhat. It seems that the beast kin are not immune to the plague either.
I bow and you should do deference to your knowledge. I will be there in 4 days' time. If your men can meet me on the road, so much the better.
They will look out for you.
Right.
Um,
Down the fire. Put the old earth onto it. Let's not set fire to the forest. Everything's good in my life.
Elves love me. That one's got his elf.
That's a low key.
Oh, you better put that out. So
You get you mount your horse and you ride the short distance to where they are.
You'd think it'd be bigger, right? Looks kind of tough. The legends. Heard a lot about the man. But
You'll be doing this while you're.
oh right, okay, I was good. Yeah.
He's quite small. What do you think?
Say legends all.
Look at his weapons.
Look at his
Good
weapon.
pick, sink. Bigger weapons than that.
You bitch.
I mean, we eat with bigger than that.
You with tools. Ooh. And then goes on the forest, isn't it? What happens in the forest stays in the forest. Especially the screams.
You would have noticed that the axes that you carry are very old in design.
Good nick.
Shave with them.
Head lops.
Ooh.
It's a nasty nick.
Go away. I'll just lie down now. Right, so you're still talking about when I get back up?
No, so
This
I
was-
know what they're doing here. So basically, while you're communicating,
Yeah, but this was happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Needs to be in, that's
Yeah,
what we
no.
talked about. So
No, it's fine.
You're deep in conversation with Everett at the same time as they've sort of ride forward on the horses usually.
Yeah. Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, so go on.
Don't be shy now.
I think he is actually the son of Taal.
Mantle.
Kind of mantle.
He is around. Can't live. Span, can he?
So it's a lie. Entire thing. Not really the son of Taal. You know?
Good. Taal.
Or they will be feared. Won't we? David. What's the difference?
Side the coin.
Side. Is it?
Flick a coin.
Disappearing in the undergrowth.
Yeah. Shit.
What in the forest?
Crap. Or rather, and a little hand comes out. That's mine. Fucking. Oh, twat. I'm having that.
Time will tell.
Thanks.
Wah, wee.
Fucking pixie.
So what did you tell Marie this time?
Oh,
I just want to know.
don't.
You know, for a big fella, you're awfully scared of your woman. Actually, I'm scared of your woman.
There you go.
Nope.
You want to cook some dinner?
So it sounds like
Still
Yeah.
over the fire.
it sounds like that old Maclang song, "Sweaty Betty." Got big tits and she works on a sewage farm. Put my hands down the neck as a little lost half the arm. Sweaty Betty. That's time for me to. That tells me it's midnight,
Oh, okay.
and I'm going to turn into a pumpkin.
Excellent. Well, do you want to continue on?
Um,
Do you want to get to the Nordland?
Yeah.
That's quite a big
Yeah. No,
point.
we'll do that. Yeah.
So yeah, he kicks out his fire.
Yeah. And you're like,
I'm striding over, and I become striding over, like I'm having difficulty moving my legs because I've been a horse for 3 days. That's why.
Cover it.
Yeah. I leap onto the horse from a standing start. Boom.
yeah, everyone out of schools.
Boom, slow motion.
Smack the horse. Horse runs away.
Full ninja. Cloak floating in.
Oh, the special about him. Yes, you're right.
Completely misses the horse. Lands in front. Boom. Crap. Ah. Ooh.
I'm really special.
Lying on the ground.
No sounds.
Was he?
Right. You're right up to these guys on the edge. You've been looking up and down the road. There is no visible sign of anybody on the road.
Just step out. Bob. Shit. Run away. Yeah. Fucking straight
A
into
big horde came out of nowhere.
straight into a zombie herd.
Freaking army of goblins.
What the hell?
Finally got to her.
Used to a shit.
Where's Caroline? What? You're about 1,000 years too late, man.
We don't die, you know. Fuck.
Just a goblins are immortals.
Have you seen
There's
that?
one real pissed off guy.
Stop me.
Which
Stop
way
me.
did they go?
Hey, long arm. He comes with
Where did they go?
sorry, go Caroline.
Yeah, he went that way.
Yeah.
There.
Right, spiders.
Oh.
They came to live a long time.
Meanwhile, used to a sacked.
You didn't see that coming.
Eh?
They just blended in.
Yeah.
There's thousands of them.
Really good at stealth.
One of them's got a cloak on.
It's when you get past that tree that you can see them.
There's a tree that widely. Can't do shit. Can't
What's
do
it?
wood for the trees.
You must be fine. Oh my god! Dragon? Really?
All standing in a line.
Oh.
I'm just got to picture you talking about that horse. Just fucking horses hid behind trees.
Army of horses.
Army of force. Yeah.
Hunting griffins.
Oh dear. Right.
You leave the safety of the forest and get onto the Minheim Grad Road. You've got about 2 or 3 hours journey from this point. This is the furthest south you've ever been. For you two anyway.
Probably sweating by now. Oh god, it's so hot.
So you make off to the road. The road itself is more overgrown than it used to be. This is a road that was built, according to the legend, 1,000 years before the height of the Empire's creation by Sigmar himself. It was a mix of dwarven stonemasonry and hard labour of the Empire's men. The road has lasted very well all this time, but at this point in the last couple of 100 years, specifically the last 4 years, decidedly, it is not being maintained. So the road itself is still a solid, compacted road, but
It's going to get rutted and fall a bit. Right.
you come into the site of the Nordland Prince. It sits effectively directly onto the road itself. The road It's gate on the road. There's no trail off to one side.
So you got to go through it to get.
So it's on the side. So
Oh, right, okay.
It's like that. There's the road.
Yep.
It's there, literally on the
Right.
road there. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
You see, it's a 2-story building. There's a tall, thick wall around it. It is not dwarven built. It is man-made. The entire area, the entire thing is quite a large establishment. 2 stories mainly. However, you also note that there is a section of the floor, the second floor, looks to be a walled, fortified.
So are we
platform.
talking about? Is it like a keep with a curtain wall, or is it just a house with
It's a big house.
like a big mansion?
Yeah.
But it's got a curtain wall around it.
Yes.
Right.
So stone. It's with a conical like there.
Yeah. So it's like a curtain wall of a castle, but it's around a big house.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you ride towards it, like I said, the house itself is pretty much a long ways on. You can see that the vast majority of the second floor is obviously given over to property, to a second floor. There's obviously windows and that sort of thing. However, you can see that there's a section of it right at the front, it's slightly walled, and you can see a door leads out onto it. So, in effect, as you're travelling down the road, you've got this sort of effect, and the forest has been cut back. You can see stumps. It's being maintained. There is a good distance all around it. Yeah. The property itself within this wall is about big. Yeah. You can't, even from this vantage, you can see that there's also appears to be something in this sort of area like this. Yeah. But it's pretty much only because of the angle that you're coming at. All right. You realise as you get there, the wall it's a solid 20 foot. However, if you imagine that in the second floor, yeah, you can see that the second floor is only this part. Yep.
Right.
And that there is a door, and this is a walled, fortified, almost rooftop. It's not. It is. It is literally just.
So it's like a.
Is it like a veranda? You mean like a?
It's more than a veranda. So basically, what you've got is if you imagine you've got the wall, yeah,
Fence.
yeah, and you've got like an area here, and there's the second floor, right, and then obviously the rooftop, and you can see that there's an actual. It's not created like a castle.
It's battlements, but it's not quite battlements. But it's a vantage point where you could fire down across.
And you can see. So
you can see over the top.
Walls,
so that's forget about that bit. So yeah, so basically you're up here, you can see down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but it is only specifically at the front. So from this point, you can see. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the second story also is made of timber and wood, whereas the ground floor is solid stone. You also note an absence of all windows on the bottom floor. The top floor, you can see
So are we coming? Are we on a hill that we can see over this wall?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
About an hour's journey, sort of you can see clearly distinct, and you get closer. But as you get closer, obviously the wall.
Yeah. It gets.
Above it.
Has it got a ditch or a moat or anything around
No,
it?
it doesn't. It is literally just a very thick, high wall. Yeah.
You can see all.
Now, this is the thing. You believe, based on what you can see from here, that is a fairly recent addition.
Right.
It is not of the same manufacturer. It is timber cross beams. It's painted clay, and it's
been added on.
It's been added on, and therefore you've still got some protection. But you suspect the way that that's put on, you can see that the cross beams are coming up from the lower floor. It's been added on. This is a decision for needing more space, perhaps,
but not
it does
necessarily
compromise
Yeah.
this area. But you can see clearly this was a single story. This was probably a garrison.
So there's probably a big flat roof over across there that could be seen on all directions. Now it's been compromised by this, whatever this thing is. Also, that's made of wood, which is very nicely burnable, whereas the rest of it's all made of stone, harder to burn.
Yeah. So this is definitely fortified, possibly a garrison, a fort of some kind originally back in the day, but they found a way. They used it. But then, like anything, if the threat has not been realised as much, it becomes more and more until eventually you'll find that, given the way that mankind expands, there's going to be houses start building around it, completely and totally destroy its
defensive capability. Yeah.
But that is still very much clearly left as such. You can see a doorway onto it. And you can see there seems to be that. Now, once you get inside, Well, you climb up, you ride up to it. It's early afternoon. The gate is thrown back. The wall is foreboding. It's a big, solid stone wall. It is designed and it is definitely maintained.
And is the sign of soldiers or people?
So as you come in, so straight away you can see that this is a solid, squat stone building with a tiled roof. You can see that there's a thick, open chimney on the top. And very clearly you can see that this is a smith of some kind. This here is the stables. You can see here the distinct look of a well. Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's inside the wall, yeah?
It's inside the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you get in here, this is perfectly maintained. From the side, as you sort of ride in, you can see that there's straw on the ground, that sort of thing. Somebody's already, they're going to come out and meet you. You can see here, you have a small, again, stone building with a tiled roof. Distinct, very much identified as a guard room, as it were, for the gate. This gate is as thick as any you've seen. It's old and it is blackened. It's based on it's been fire treated, to stop it from burning, but it is incredibly thick. You will literally go through a thick, solid stone wall. It's definitely human built. It's been many times, repaired. It has been maintained. There is no visible signs that it's ever failed. So when I say repaired, it's repaired through its age, its time, it's been reinforced, but it is very thick. A person can easily hold this wall. The wall itself, on closer inspection, is littered with spikes all the way along the top. There is no way, this 20-foot wall is climbable, without a shadow of a doubt. There's nothing beyond dwarf and elven made. Man hasn't made a wall that can't be climbed, especially a 20-foot. But it is literally, the wall is so thick and it is littered with spikes and shards of glass. No one's getting over gently. And then you see the squat wall building. The building again looks like a fortified tower at the base level. There are no discernible windows on the lower floor. Again, you can see a thick, heavy fortified door is the front end. This is the stable. This has definitely been an add-on. It's made of wood and going to be burnable. All right, but it's up against a solid stone wall, and there's your smith. In here, you can see that there is a coach. Is already in. It has the faded, dirt-covered marks of the Middenheim Griffins. You know that the Middenheim coaching, it's on its way. It's a small company, and it's expensive for those that use it. It's basically, that it'll travel the Middenheim-Ehrengrad road. But people have stagecoach, but you have to have a hell of a bit of coin to pay for it. It's reinforced. This is heavy. It's thick metal banded wood, and they're normally heavily armoured.
And heavily protected, presumably.
Yeah. There's nothing gentle or sexy about this. The people inside, it's quite cramped. It's not built for comfort. It's built for survival. It is a tank. And the horses themselves, which you can see, are big, heavily bred to pull such a beast, and you know that they wear that they've when you've seen them. Recent times you've seen a decline in it, but they've normally got horse barding on and armour. But as the coach declines in its fortunes, so too does the maintenance of the
right.
coaches.
And do they just travel by themselves, or they travel with outriders?
They travel by themselves.
All right, okay.
They'll normally, but they use they employ exclusively veteran soldiers to be the coach. Driver and rider, but even from here, as you're looking upon it, as you ride in and you dismount, you can see that the riding compartment itself is armoured. Where normally they'd be sitting there. This is actually, you can see that it's almost like a crenellated wooden palisade around them, and they also, that these guys are veterans. They're warriors, the fighters, but generally have retired and take on this work. And pulled by 4 very heavy horses, which you can see within the stalls. Apart from that, there's no evidence to say otherwise that this place has anybody else in. You don't know if that is surprising. Being the only place is a viable stay over. You can see that it has been reinforced. It's been given some extra rooms. You can see that there's windows, but you also note that the shutters are on the inside, not on the outside, and that they're actually open at this point. You estimate that the this Nordland prince, obviously fortified in 2 floors, out a courtyard with its own stables, without technically going in there, but you can see that this could hold a lot of people. The coach probably can hold anything up to 6. And there's no evidence that anywhere else. There's no evidence of foot traffic.
So we're not suspecting it's going to be chockers, and we're not going to be able to get a.
Unless there's a huge pilgrimage going by foot.
You didn't know, but yeah.
In which case, there's a hell of a story, because that means that they definitely spent one night outside. Because only people riding are going to make this journey. So, yeah, there's only evidence of that. So you'd estimate, based on the coach being full, 6 people inside plus the 2 crew. We should expect about 8 people. But if anybody's on foot, then who knows?
Right.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, basically, you ride in, the man at the in the little gatehouse. He's basically you see him. He stands towards you. He's a fairly old man. You can see he's got that sort of weather-beaten look of someone that sits out in the sun a lot. He's definitely seen more than half a century. He's over 50 easily, by the sort of the grey and the thinning of the top, the grey of the hair on the sides. But he looks like anybody that is sort of out in the middle of nowhere. It's a hard life, and he hasn't given in to fat. He still looks quite a rough man. He steps out. He's in breeches, stained, white shirt with a leather waistcoat. No visible weapons. My lords, his voice, his accent, sorry, is a little bit clipped, but definitely Nordlander. Not a Norseman Nordlander, an actual Nordlander.
Yeah.
So his voice is, well, you recognise it, you know it, you've lived your entire life with it. It's fast, it's aggressive, but it's not offensive. My lords, welcome to the Nordland Prince. Have you stayed here before? Yeah, before he answers. He shall go in. A man comes on the corner, early 30s, in fairly brown muted collars. Prepare the stables. We have 3 horses, and 2 of them look like they could eat us out of all our fare. My name's Wolfgang. This is Gerwin Muck. He'll be looking after your animals, and anything that you need to be taken in. If you want to head through the door, and you'll Oswald. No, I'm lying.
Not Oswald.
Herr Heine is the owner of this fine establishment.
Right. Good. We'll take the horses. We're looking for someone to stay for the night. You're not full, are you?
No. We've had the coach in. We're expecting, like we do every night, the road wardens to come through, though normally they're here by now. But that's it. Yeah, just the midnight coach. They're travelling north. It's a priest's party.
Priests, eh? Priests of which?
Shalia.
Oh, Shalia. Okay, well that's good to know. Give up the horse and get off Sam, Henry, whatever he's called.
Oh, you dismount.
Yeah.
The Gerwin steps forward, walks over, and he leads the horse towards the stables. There's no conversation of do you want the bread or water to brush down. This is a stopping point. There's a stand that you can see. They're just going to deal with the horses as they need to. Are you particularly removing any kit? Are you going to question them? Because otherwise your horses are still...
Well, I've just got Blanky on it, so...
Yeah. You're
Take
going to need
gear
that.
off.
Yeah.
Don't touch 'em.
You're going to take all of them.
Yeah.
You don't let them touch your weapons. You've suddenly got a sexual thing about weapons.
No. I don't want them to touch my weapons because from my old.
Okay.
I don't care.
How am I going to get this pike through the door?
Well, basically, see what happens is he takes it in. You can see that each stall is a private stall for your horses. And you can see that there's a platform there where he's going to put the saddle on, and you can see there's areas where you can put the weapons and all that sort of stuff in there. So you basically, while
I'll be
you
putting them
stop,
in.
you're starting to take your stuff off. He'll take your horses through to their respective stables. but no doubt you'll have walked in at that point. So you've got your sword on you. I take it that's it.
Yeah.
Your tools of the trade, we'll call it. Encounter is
Yeah,
the
don't-
stab
yeah.
sword.
I think you're not going to take in a huge
We're not
200,
going to take
200 Warhammer. What's this for? It's to
so-
get my first drink.
You, as you, I mean, I'm assuming you're leaving let him deal with the saddle.
Yeah.
But as you're taking the weapons off, you can see that he's obviously giving you a moment to do it as you see fit. You see Wolfgang, the guy that met you at the door, steps through the doorway. Bit of corn in his mouth, whistling tunelessly, looking up and down the road, leans against the wall and starts to whittle away at a bit of wood. Gerwin, seeing that you're doing something, goes about dealing with the horses. He takes the saddles off and the riding back underneath, starts brushing them down. You can see that straight away they've got their face in a food basket of oats, and you see him takes his weapons down, struggling with the warhammer. He has that look of someone that doesn't know how to carry something that's got a massive weight at one end. How do you actually carry this thing? He's two-handed, lifts it by its haft. And he basically, you can see he's just, he gets on with it. He's not. You don't get the impression he's doing something unexpectedly because you're watching.
He's doing one by his thing. I'm the last one that touches the weapon. So.
Okay. Well, he does the initial dress down, takes your horse into its own stable, puts the saddle on the bench. I just forgot what they're called. There's a particular name where you can have the.
Yeah.
Anyway, he takes the saddle off, and obviously, are you taking your weapons in with you, or are you going to leave them in there with?
No, I'm leaving the. I'm only taking in my dagger, short sword, dagger, tools, but the tools will be in my bag.
Yep. You've got like a saddlebag over your shoulder. You leave the heavy armor. Well, you're wearing your armor, so you're going to leave the longbow and the curved bow, which I'll put to one side. Okay, they're not obviously strung anyway, so that they're all done. Meanwhile, you've walked inside the tavern.
Meanwhile, I've 3 pints and I'm already asleep.
Inside the common room, so basically as you walk in through the door itself, you can see that this main part of the floor is obviously the common room itself. To the left, there is a stout set of reinforced metal banded stairs that literally start on the left, go up the left wall and onto a platform above, which takes it to the next floor.
Right.
Straight ahead of you is a bar, and you can see that there is a common room to the right, sort of like a sleeping area. But the tap room is here.
Right.
Yeah, the tap room is in this half of the building. So as you step in from here, you can see that there's a sort of like an archway, and this area is, you can see stairs there, leading that way.
Mm-hmm.
Then a balcony that's like this, and you can see that is a balcony there that would lead up into that next floor. Right, but it doesn't go that way, does it? It goes along there. So basically the stairs lead up, and that's where there's going to be some rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath here is mainly the bar, and you can see that's the door there's a doorway, and you can see what looks like a kitchen on that side. The bar itself is sort of like that shape, and tables are interspersed around the place. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the common room, you can see clearly the driver and guard dirt stained and drinking the ale. Before them are plates with scraps of a meal that they've already partially devoured, having pushed it back and now drinking from big tankards. You can see the barman standing behind the bar, who looks up at you as you walk in, smiling. There are 12 tables arrayed around the room. Only one other, aside from the coachman's table, is occupied. The occupants of the coach, no doubt. At that table, you can, which would sit 6 people. You see there are 2 men in chainmail. In chainmail, sweat-stained tunics. Clearly, you can see where the rings of rust, the sweat is built up, and they're wearing these white tunics, but you can see these markings clearly.
We've got chainmail underneath.
They've worn chainmail on top. They've sweated over, and this is just their shirt. They've taken the chainmail off, and it's left this sort of these marks of constant use and wear. But they're clearly not wearing the chainmail now. There's Dern stayed in tunics, and they're sitting on either side of aesthetic-looking man. He's also in a stained white robe. You can see that there is a heart embroidered over the left breast in yellow. You recognise that as the Shallian heart. Clearly a Shallian monk in that sense, based on his clothing. Though rare, this is for you, or rare within the Shallian cult, there are men that follow Shallian, wander the empire, bringing what aid they can. So normally when you hear, oh, it's a priest of Shallian, it's actually a priestess.
Right.
This is male. This is a man. Very rare, and they're called the wandering priests. They are not allowed to put down roots.
Right.
There's been too many times where that the soft-hearted Shallian priest falls for the women around him because they're not the hard-bitten, spitting psychos everyone else is. Especially now during the fourth year of the plague, the Shallian males are travelling around, but they've just been hit as hard as anybody else. Shallian has not answered their prayers. So he's sitting on the table quietly. He's got a plate before him. He's picking at his food. His robes are of good quality, but stained by. He's been on the road a while. These other two are sitting beside him. Clear veteran, soldiers. They've got that sweat.
So they're obviously his bodyguards are appearing to be something similar.
Yep. However, you also see that there's a man at the bar, which is why the barman hasn't went, hello. He's actually serving somebody. This man, as you see, he's leading in, and some drinks are being put down in front of him, and he's got his back to you. But you see straight away that as you see the barman go like that and smile, he turns immediately. He became aware that this guy's obviously smiled and he's acknowledging something. He turns and looks around. He's a heavy-set man, a clear veteran, and getting on quite in his age. Again, he has that the look of someone that's used to be wearing armour, and his clothes have the markings for it. You instinctively see he's part of the party, and he's older than the other.
So third bodyguard.
Yeah.
Right.
You also note that he's on his old leather. Again, it's showing that there's markings from straps that this guy's obviously used to be wearing chamber, but he's also probably worn plate, a chest plate, that sort of thing. You can see that there's no bladed weapons anywhere near. There are three big, heavy, stout-looking staves near the priest, heavily used, and you can see have been carved and manhandled for a long time. The smooth red wood look about them. The thing that you note is that there's on the guy at the bar, as he turns, you can see the very faint etchings and partial blue marking of a bird in flight. You recognise the imagery as the markings of the Seahawks, and you know that they are a regiment, the Nordland regiment, specifically that are used to garrison and support foreign province armies. They do not serve within Nordland, but it's a mark of pride. They are the elite, and they are sent out to reinforce other province armies and fight, and to basically show everybody up. So when another province asks for aid, the Seahawks are there. As a result, they're generally garrisoned within these other provinces and very rarely come home until they retire. But it's an elite regiment of Seahawks, they're called. You walk in. At that point, he sees you, he appraises you, he takes his moment, he pretty much dismisses you quite quickly, looking at you two, looking you up and down, and looks back at his drinks, takes it, and he's got 3 tankards. And while he's walking away, the barman is producing a smaller cup, very similar to the one that sits in front of the priest. No doubt he's pouring him another round. You obviously are capable of walking in. You don't have to walk into each other by any means as they go to this table. So it is the largest table, and it's got 4 people at it. As he walks towards it, he looks up at you guys. Afternoon. His accent is a gentle version of the Nordland, indication that he spent a lot of time away from home.
Afternoon.
Marcus Orton puts the drinks down. He steps up to you. You're up here. You get this certain impression of when you were training like a drill sergeant. There's a man that's expected of. He's an NCO. He's a warrior. He's a soldier. But there's you can see his hands are gnarled and used. He's got some fine white line scarring, and that's only visible because of the tan and the dirt of the road. Puts his hand out in the warrior's greeting. Marcus Orton, former sergeant, Seahawks. I see you Northlanders and what you're wearing. You serving? You shake his hand?
Yeah, take his hand.
You serving the section detail?
Yes.
You're going to be alright with these lads. They're going to be good. They are good lads. You can trust them. Just because they're Northmen, they're some of the better fighters I've ever come across, which we could add you in with our lot down south. Well, lads, if once you've settled in for the night, if you want to come over and have a couple of drinks of mine, Oswald, he'll probably retire. He needs to get his beauty sleep. You see the guy blushes. You know, he's...
I'm pretty already.
Yeah. Maybe we could talk some, we can have some old stories once you've discharged for the night.
I like to drink.
I like to drink.
Frank, get this first round in for me for these guys. And he goes back to the table, sits down. At that point, Lanfrank's he bustles over and he brings over. You can see it looks like it's wine for the priest. A very small amount of wine.
Ooh.
He's nursing the first one still.
We need drinks. All right, you're already. Excellent on a schwally straight away. Woo! I'll get to like.
Just give me that bottle, would you? This round's on him.
We need some rooms as well.
We've got plenty of rooms, my lord. I'm Lanfrank Heine. This is my establishment. It's been my family's establishment for several generations. We take great pride in looking out for our guests. Is there any particular upper floor or common room?
We'll take something on the upper floor if you've got it.
Of course, yes.
Actually, before we start, do I have any money? I was just thinking, I just expect shit. And you go like, that'll cost you four. Like,
It'll cost you your life.
yeah, like,
Oh, did you?
it'll cost you your kidneys. Kill them. I never had to in previous days. Like, you know, you want what of me? Oh, come on. Shall I set you on fire?
If you were to suddenly say that, I'm deciding I want all my armour to be made of purest gold. No.
Yeah. But I've got.
Well, you will see just a couple of rules that at the as the sun goes down, there are no naked lights on the upper floor unless the shutters are already drawn. We must not have any attraction, any light out into the night. Nothing must be attracted to our presence.
What is the
We
be?
take no chances. There are things out in the forest and out in the lands that have over the years there are tales. My father told once of a creature like some kind of goat that walked like a man. It brayed at the night and carried an axe. A devil of a creature. But it has been quite quiet. The road wardens keep it so. But we have a rule: when the sun goes down, the shutters close. No naked light. You also notice that feel free to use the garden. We have great views
of the cesspit of hell.
of the stars. Feel free to use the door, but make sure that you lock it when you if you do retire for the evening. But there are chairs up there, so please take advantage of it. But otherwise, be relaxed. Everything that that we can provide will obviously cost.
Excellent. Well, we'll need some.
We want a bath.
No, we won't need a bath, but we will need some food.
Of course.
And as I say, rooms. I'll be fine.
Three standard plates. We've got
Whatever's hot on the pot at the moment, I'll be good.
Tell Ebo to provide 3 plates from the stove.
Right.
Make it you're paying, Framling.
As ever, don't I always pay? Haven't I always paid? It's my lot in life to pay.
It goes off.
Yeah, that's something to rant.
You just take your own table for the time being?
Yeah.
Because obviously his invite was when my guy's gone.
Yeah.
Clearly saw that bit.
Yeah. We'll get on one table.
Well, big frothing, 3 big steins of...
Small one for me. Small glass and a small glass of wine. Ooh.
And this is, because everyone has one.
Like, oh.
Give us a horn.
Yeah.
Plates are brought out. Wooden plates.
Give us a horn. Oh, yes, that's what I like to see.
Sliced meats. There's some egg and there's some, basically, it's a good meal, a very filling meal. There's some vegetables on there and that sort of thing. But 3 big tankards of frothing ale. And then basically, so the evening goes on effectively.
I'm not going to stay down here drinking with these 2 idiots. That's what I'll say. I'm not just staying down here drinking with you 2 idiots.
You hardly know them.
I hardly know you.
There's 3! You can't count.
I'll just take that ale off you.
This is fighting juice. Back in my day.
For drink. Punches the Shalian priest. Taal versus Shalia! Yes!
Yay!
Punch daggers around. They're like, we can't harm anybody.
That's where your biggest drawback is. I can.
Look. Pray for healing now, bitch.
What a puff. I'm the puff. You are now.
For Taal.
Meant to be his bodyguard, or are we meant to keep him from harming other people?
He's had half a shandy.
He's fighting everyone.
He's just had the foam.
Take me back 27,000 years ago. Pissed. Obviously pissed.
He's only touched the stein.
I'm the god of everyone. All right, take him to bed.
Do you know who I am?
All right. He's got no idea. He's pissed. That's how drunk he is. I've got no fucking idea.
Yeah, well, it only takes about 20 minutes to eat the
Yeah.
food. I mean, you're not averse to drinking.
No. But I'm a pure of spirit, and I don't want to get involved in any fights. So I'm gonna go. Look at used to. Yeah. Right. Okay. No, I want to go in my room because I'll go in my room. There's things I need to do.
He's been grounded.
Right, I'm not staying down here with you assholes. I'm up there for a wank.
Been on the road for a couple of days, and I'm just gonna knock one out.
It's been 2 hours. It's been 2 hours. I'm not last time I had a wank, I was in an elven forest.
Yeah. And you kind of beat that.
It was just like.
So that's how you started the fire.
I'm going to try and do it at the same time.
I think he was trying to light firewood.
I'm just giving you a space.
Are you there, Taal?
He's wanking into a fire. You're like, is he cooking something? He's full of self-harm, wanks and fires.
It's just what you did back in the day.
Meanwhile, Everett's like, my lord.
It's just what
He calls it the communication roulette. Because, yes? Oh, for fuck's sake.
Ever seen one of these before? It's angry. Very angry. Taal's angry with you.
See a priest.
Watch it. Don't turn away. Everett, I'm not looking. You got us last time. Everett, I've got something really important to tell you from Taal. What?
Look at it. Been holding on to this for 2,000 years. Look at it.
All the time. His thing is quite unique.
I've named it the Eye of Terror.
You only one eye.
You want to see the Dark Lord?
The never helmet. It's the littlest eye. It's ever looking.
Look at his dark helmet. Fuck off, Framling.
Look.
You're sick.
It gets lonely in the forest. Yeah, well,
That's what
Look,
mortality
I've got a
does.
furry beastman. This is what we like to do to them. Like, fuck them up. Stop it, Framling.
Not me. I'm not gay. It is. Anyways, it's just.
In the glade. Empty bottles of drink everywhere.
Oh, not again.
Arms are like,
Not again.
Goats everywhere.
goes all like looking all like disgusting at you.
Only the
Very
ones.
small fires that have gone out over the night. 6 fires.
Just Yeah, no, I was lost in the mountains for a while.
Drunk calling him.
It's just what happened back in the day. I haven't quite got into the modern way of doing things.
You've got to have a traffic code in there as well.
It's just like on someone's head.
Do you know what the fuck it is? I think it was attached.
And a blinking light. What the hell's that? I don't know where it came from. Look otherworldly to me.
Oh no, there's a chicken.
Oh shit!
Sorry, Dad. I drinks a bit.
Forget.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not used to these modern times. I didn't know it was not. I'm just going upstairs to hammer wank myself to sleep. What? Huh?
Yeah, you're from a brutal time.
Yeah, like, huh? No one's going to watch. All right,
I'm fine. Got any,
Was that an invitation for someone?
yeah. Any lard? No? Okay.
got any pigs, sheep?
Right, okay, just going upstairs. Right. It's early tonight. I'm not going to bed.
Gonna go wank looking at one of the horses.
Just say it matter of factly.
Look out the window. Yeah.
He said no naked flames.
Okay.
Just going to polish it for a while. But he's quite a coarse man, so he's like, what? Going upstairs. Doesn't look like it's a whorehouse, so. Framling's like that. He learned many things, but
Framling doesn't give a fuck.
like Framling, yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, you showed them to your room. They're not.
This is not Gandalf. This is like, oh God!
What's he done?
Are you Gandalf doing this? Hello there, dearie. Would you like to fuck? What? No, said Bilbo.
Yeah, so it's not a time frame that these are lockable doors. I mean, you can put a big lump of wood, which is basically swung around on the inside, so as you close it, goes into a latch.
Oh yeah.
But, you sort of,
But then someone can just put a little dagger, go, flink, and it's like, yeah.
and obviously there's none of that sort of, so basically, yeah.
Walk your territory.
As you climb up the stairs, you go
Piss on the
around.
wall.
The rooms aren't exactly tiny, but they're not huge. They're pointed as well as they can be. You can see that half of the roof is fully given over to this rooftop. You can't help but sort of open the door and go, oh, right. There are benches and there's chairs.
So you
And
can.
there is. So you can't stand up on the roof and look out. And you see that even though there's sacrificed visuals to the back, to the west and approach, this still has allowed for you to be able to see all up and down the road.
Right, yeah.
And in doing so, you can see travelling on the eastern end of the road, heading towards you. You can see the unmistakable road dirt of horses heading in this direction.
All right, okay. So I'll have a gaze out
You estimate they'll arrive after nightfall.
after nightfall. That's unusual.
Because you're looking up and going, the sun's about to go. It's about to cast anyway now, set. And they're not travelling, so they are going to be reaching after the gates are closed. Well, it's not your problem.
Well, maybe if they open the gates and there's a fucking horde of hell outside.
Well, true, but you kind of hope that they can tell.
Yeah.
Let me in! Oh, Chaos Warriors, you spoke. Oh, fuck, not again.
That's why they're chaos. Cunning buggers.
In.
Are you chaos warriors? No.
Wolfgang, you tit, I told you to look through the spine hole.
I asked. I said, are you chaos warriors? They said no. So I trust. They lie. Oh! They lie. How the hell are we supposed to defeat that?
Fuck. Yeah, so
Right, well, in my room, take the old cross-leg position, lotus position, and I'm just going to basically commune with my friends, the little sprites and whatever, and I'm going to push it out towards the surrounding area, and I'm just looking for signs of beastkin. I'm just looking for signs of anything that's just inflicts the not normal on me, just to give an idea, within about like a 1 or 2 mile range. Not like, I found some, where are they? Oh, yes, it's at the North Pole.
arm yourselves, let's go.
3
days later.
3 years later.
We kind of got up our way on this one. No, you can sense, you can see and sense the wildlife. It stays away from this obvious, well-established point of man and away from the road. But you don't have to go far within an acceptable range on the western shore, the short side you're on. Wildlife is still here in abundance. It is dead. It genuinely is. It's that moment of when you go swimming. And
you hear
the ledge.
Yeah,
and it's black. And it just feels like the water. There's something evil there.
You can just hear you hear the cello going boom, 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 boom.
You literally you extend yourself out.
You just feel like bait at the surface. Like, I'm going to go back this way.
Yeah, it feels wrong.
Get into a boat. Maybe it's a destroyer.
Off to the Luthean.
Yeah,
So within a couple of miles on this side, life is thriving. Nature is doing its thing. It's not concerned. There is no massive build-up beyond this point here where man is. The forest is natural, it's alive, and it's healthy.
Right. All right. Got my tattered copy of Play No Skill. Relax. Some wood carvings. Oh.
But otherwise, that's you.
Yeah, I'm just. I literally. Just wanted to set it out there, and I don't really sleep. I more meditate.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, lying on a bed, not in the fucking, like, oh, this is gonna hurt. I used to do this years ago, but now I just need pop.
And what is your? Because I'm bringing this to an end for the night anyway. So, what is your plan?
To get absolutely.
We are just
rattled.
drinking. This is what we do.
Well, I'm going to take this a bit further. So.
All right. Okay.
So you're sitting there. So the priest, he doesn't leave, and eventually he pisses Marcus off.
We all look at him.
So, like, Marcus is like, "You want to go to bed, priest?" No, I just want to listen to the way you talk. Well, you understand that we're not going to be sitting here and watching all the P's and Q's.
Some
We're
worries.
going to talk some soldier talk.
Does your priest like the company of men?
He's got no choice. He's a stallion.
He does wear a dress.
Yeah. See some random guy walk past. Punch. So the priest is introduced because he's not leaving. Is Oswald. Okay, he's a Shallian priest from Middenheim. Marcus Orton still maintains his rank as part of his name, effectively calling him Sergeant Marcus Orton.
He actually only made corporal, but he didn't tell anyone that.
He never served.
Yeah.
He actually found the tunic.
He's in the territorials, but he still claims for it.
So he's a Northern Seahawk, and the stories represent that. He didn't serve, has never served in Nordland, and he's only just mustered out. And he took a job with the Shallians to, the Shallians out and about, trying to do that work. I've only said yes because we're heading north. I've told him that I'll take him as far as Erengrad, but we're not going into the Oslo, we're not going to there. Even Shallian ain't protecting anyone. But they want to go north. I'd mustered out. I wanted to head north, go home. I haven't been there in 25 years. So fair enough. He seems to be this, strict guy. And he's seen action. You can see, he's a Seahawks. He looks like he owns that. They're pretty much ignoring the two coachmen who just sit at their own table drinking. That's probably because this is what they do for a living. And after a while, they're just like, I don't give a shit. You're sitting in me coach, and I get you from A to B. And you get the impression that this group would be more than happy to drink with them, but they're like not interested. They in fact clearly avoid conversation with the customers.
Won't kiss him on the mouth as well.
The other two guards are Falk, Ermin, and Hartmut Weiss.
The first two went right. The two guardsmen are Hulk, Fizz, and Fortman Weiss.
How many are there?
It's only two, but one's got three names. What?
Falk, Ermin, and Hartmut Weiss.
Oh, right.
They're fairly young. They haven't served you. This is the night goes on. Well, it's actually 2 hours. That's when this will end. These guys have dedicated themselves to the protection, having been spared the plague. You see that Hartmut is the next 2 hours. You see that he's still. You're talking about the plague and how horrifying it is, and have you seen it? And he was like, "Yeah, I've actually survived it." my village got wiped out as his folk. Managed to get away, and Hartman here wasn't so lucky, but he's one of the...
He wasn't so lucky, he's dead. Oh.
Yeah, but he survived it, and he's like, yeah, I did. And he's like this, and he pulls out, pulls down his robe. This is the first time you've come across somebody, and you can see that he's got welts. Mainly you can see that they're around his collar and in the armpits, but it's scar tissue.
Right.
At first you find yourself going, and then he's like,
pushing the chair along.
Like, no, that's what you can see. They're like bruises. No. When they're live, when this is, keep talking. Which one's it? Just tap your mic. Okay, good. And, because obviously straight away you go like, whoop, shit! Well, so over. Yeah. He's like, no, the boils are like blisters when they're live. It's basically they start to pop. That's when you die. Mine didn't, and they went away, and it's just left these scar and bruises everywhere. They don't go away. There's very few of us, but that's why I've dedicated myself to Shalia, because it must have been Shalia that showed me mercy and saved my life. No chances.
Charlie didn't save you that time.
Mark was like, oh well. I told him to fucking hide his bruises.
Yeah. No wants to see that.
Yeah. But you can see that the scoring is pretty. It's the skin is black and necrofied. It looks, it's. You can see that they're obviously not going to get any better, and it's where that the skin looks like it's starting to rot, and it's left these thick black sort of marks all around his chest, mainly thicker around the armpits, and he does this with his shirt, But yeah, they're all
just let me dinner.
Does he show these at every gathering?
Yeah, about an hour and a half in, he's about 6 pints in already. He's a young man, and Mark's is like, because you're a prick. He doesn't know when to shop. Another couple of these, and he won't be talking anyway. He'll be under the table.
Two more.
I like this one. So, what's your story?
We get by. We do jobs here and there. Loads for hire.
I think it's a shame that the Crown Prince, he doesn't actually let you guys sign up to the regiment's mind.
I don't think we're fit for the regiment, kind.
Look, at the end of the day, it's your people that come across the sea. Yeah, he's a hell of a fighter. Yeah. You're born to it. He's a crazy man. He's a hard fighter. Those of you that stay, if you've been allowed to settle, then why can't you fight for the country that you've decided to call your own? I've got no problem with your people at all. I know not everyone follows that, but you have settled in now in Nordland. In fact, you have probably spent more time there than I have. I was a teenager when I left.
You doing all right for yourself?
Right time, right place. The Seahawk Regiment at that time was being mustered. We were getting sent down to Biddenheim, shore up some of their defences, and been there ever since. That's the point of the Seahawks. You only come home when you're either injured, you can't do your job anymore, or if you're lucky like me, I made it to sergeant. I was good at my job, and now I've got a bit of paid work to get me back up there. I'm hoping to get myself a little bit of land. Maybe pick up a nice soft woman, have a farm. What's it like? Did the plague hit Nordland?
No. Either
because of you hard bastards, and Ulrich still gives us favour. I don't know who you really worship. But that'll mercy from Shalia be away. Nordland. You're born and bred there, that's where you should return. Unlike these two softies. I'm only kidding, lads.
Perhaps one day, Marcus, one day, we will venture home.
So where are you heading?
We're heading where he's heading.
Well, he must have told you.
No.
Well, maybe we'll give you some tips. We just come from the south.
How far south did you go?
Midnight.
What did he see?
Well, midnight, the draft's closed, the door's gone there. He's a hard bastard. Close the doors, plague ain't got inside there. You can't get there. You get as close as Alfhausen in the north, or Loughburg. You can't get. He won't let you in. maybe if you can prove that you're from Nordland, or depending on what papers your man has. But we were in Middenheim because of the Shallian cult, like, and we've come from there.
We get paid a lot. We get paid a lot not to ask questions.
I hope you're not going further than Middenheim.
I don't know if we are.
Look, I'm going to tell you this quite simply, right? We saw some of the people coming north from Nordland and all that. To make young in here look like he's still a pretty lad. The plague hit Null. It killed everyone. I know that we've heard Ostland and Taalbeck's been wiped, but Null, it's a city. It became... They closed doors with everyone in it to stop the disease coming out. Now, I know that they say it was those Tillian bastards, and I kind of believe in them. I think it was them. They've come in here with their whores coming in on the ships, and they've brought this crap with them. And that's why you can see Null is dead. And those that have got away, they're being strung up by the wardens. Not a day's ride from here, less than that. Before you get to Elfhausen, side of the road, you'll see what I'm saying. The wardens aren't all good and pure like they used to be back in our day, back in my day. There's a family on the side of the road. Men, women, children. They even killed the horses. They hung them and burnt them while they swang. Now, what sort of skill does it give? Do you have to have that they're still hanging there? They hung them and set fire to them, and they didn't collapse. The rope didn't collapse. That's skill. That's someone that's learned that trade the wrong way. The same. The further south, the darker it gets.
Any other rumours?
Not really. Look. Well, they say that this is judgment time. They say that the plague came from Tilia. There's others say that there's a couple of villages have just disappeared. A couple of survivors come through, but it's always, I know this guy that knows this guy. You never get to talk to any of them. They're saying that these ratkin have been seen walking the streets like men, ruling towns and villages like a mockery. Not even hiding, not scurrying away. Back in, working in Middenheim, I can tell you, lads, these things exist, yeah? Ratkin are real. They're conniving, they strike from the darkness, but they hide in the sewers, they come from below. They don't walk on the top, they don't walk in the light like man, in a mockery of it. But these things do exist. All the rumours, they're true. But this is different. They're not scared of light, not scared of man. They're just wandering everywhere. And they say that they came in from the east. But there's nothing out there but darkness, and it's going to take everyone. You're not going to be seeing the friendliness that you've seen in the north when you travel out of here at night tomorrow. Be careful. Trust yourselves, because I wouldn't trust anyone you see on the road. You see any group that's bigger than you, get off the side, hide. Because I promise you they're going to attack. We get a little bit of freedom because we're not exactly walking around with a bit of money, and we've got a Shallian priest. In this dark day, who's going to take on a Shallian priest? You want that guy to be actually there for you, aren't you? But we've had a couple of run-ins with other groups. As long as you look a bit mean, a bit tidy, a bit neat, that's one thing. But if there's a group's big enough, they'll just go for you. There's no law. Some places, some of the towns, they've gone back to war bands. A warlord, 12, 15 men on horseback, carving out a little bit of empire, a little bit of kingdom. Who's going to stop them? The wardens can't. There's very few of them left anyway. These are the ones you've got to watch out for. Little bastards running around the place like it used to be in the Border Princes. They're just carving out little empires all up and down here. Like I say, I wish I could tell you that the wardens are going to have your back. If you're lucky, they ignore you. We haven't actually come into them yet. I got told here by Landfrank that there's normally a party rock up and stay here overnight. We haven't seen them. Probably ran into one of them war bands. Dark times, my friends. I'm heading north because I heard the plague hadn't got that far. I'm away from all this. I'm getting too old. Bones are aching. But enough of dark talk. Let's sing songs about big-breasted women.
Make sure the plague lads sing in the...
Not ready to hear about big-breasted women. You may have survived the plague.
The darkness of the sun going down could be felt. Remember that you are in a building on a lower floor with no windows anyway, so you spent the last couple of hours without natural light. You're upstairs, obviously, as the sun goes down.
In meditation.
I'm assuming
Yeah, I'm just like...
the shutters are still open, but you wouldn't have had light on anyway.
No.
So yeah,
Don't need a lot of light.
No. So basically what you've got is you've Gerwin, the stable hand. He eventually comes in and sits at the end of the bar. Wolfgang's not seen again. He's the guy that was at the gatehouse. Probably is going to be spending his shift. You see the cook, this guy called Ebo, he comes and goes from behind the bar. And Lan Frank basically sits and talks to them. You hear the coachmen as they talk to each other and call to each other when they're at the bar. One's called Rembert, the other one is Guntram. But apart from that, they stick to themselves. But otherwise, yeah, you are literally sitting at this table, and the Shalian priest is just very quiet. He seems to be hanging off every word. He's a young man. He hasn't had a lot of life experience, clearly. His table fills with empty tankards. He's on to his third drink, but he is literally just... He seems to be a bit bashful, a bit shy, but he's clearly awestruck by you two and Marcus's conversation. Of the other two guards, Hartmut, the plague-scarred survivor, he has clearly little to no experience himself. He's dedicated himself through survival straight into Shalia. Falk is a bit darker, not more experienced per se, but he's definitely got there's something about him. He's like, you feel like he's on a razor's edge. And this is the guy that, as the night goes on, he's the one that actually watched everyone in his village succumb to the plague, and he didn't catch it. He watched everybody die, and eventually ended up at the doors of Middenheim and was taken in by the Shalians. He's, there with his stave doing his job because it's something to be done, something to be paid. But there is something, he's been mentally scarred by his experience. Watched his whole family, whole village die, but he's unmarked physically, as if Shalia put a light upon him and protected him. So that's why he's dedicated himself to Shalia. But as Marcus has said, the sergeant, he's just there because paid work to take him home. Why not get paid on my way back? You find out more about the Shalian cult. They're not allowed to kill. They can defend themselves, but cannot kill to do so. The staves are the only thing that's allowed by the protectors of the faith, and they are used simply to defend themselves and protect the ward. But under no circumstances can they kill. Marcus is in it for the coin. He's taken on the stricter because ultimately he only gets paid if Oswald attests to his following the Shalian rule when they get north. But obviously Oswald's taken life. He's fought. But you also know that this law is only for man. So Shalian can more than kill anything that's not a law-abiding citizen of the Empire, effectively. So they can't kill a human. But something that's given itself over to the dark gods, or beastkin and all that, fair game. And that's it.
Sweet.
For tonight.
Oh, so this group is gonna come. We'll get closer.
And it's 60 headless men.
All
All on fire.
See how I fly.
So yeah, I was hoping to get the Northern Prince and you on the road. I was hoping to get you down to the river. But
We started too late.
we started too late because we were talking.
As ever.
Yeah, but that means that next week's game needs
To start.
see you finished at Fornam Ur. So
We'll have to
Have to start on time.
starting time.
Stop gassing.
well, that's this hour and a half extra. This hour and a half we lost would have definitely seen you finish with the Northern Prince, and then that would have set us ready. That was what I was expecting to finish the Northern Prince tonight. We're starting the Northern Prince.
Well, we can get that done tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do it tomorrow.
I can't do it tomorrow.
Can't do it tomorrow. You'd be weighing yourself.
Isn't that you? He doesn't know what you
No,
said.
he just like what? What? Are we doing what?
So yeah, I know it's only the first session we haven't exactly gone into. Do you feel, as players, I know you've got new characters, do you sense a difference in the style, the feel of it?
Yeah, everything deadly.
No, I mean, look, it's good because the culture's developed. It's moved on. Got different players, different characters. We've got to try and work out what this new society's like and where we fit into it, and then
Kill it.
we'll clearly kill it. That's obviously the first thing we do. Yeah. Tonight I'll go around and murder. I'll murder everyone in their beds. Right, that's
That's what we're here for.
well, just licking the blade.
I chose certain times for the different books of the campaign. So Rise of an Empire was book 1, Empire in Flames is book 2. Ultimately, you've got the formation of the Empire, that sort of proto-history, where you don't know where mankind fits in the scheme of things. And this is 1,100 years later, and it's a very dark time for the Empire, where there is that sense of advancement, but also
Regression.
at the same time. As you've got an increase, I suppose, in the technology, stonework. Man has learned how to cast steel and stone, but the Empire itself has found itself fractured and slumping back into a dark age because of a mix of 3 emperors over the last 100 years, and this period in time where the Black Plague hit, 4 years, the decimation itself was...
Well, it's almost like the previous campaign, whilst we weren't all structured as one empire, everyone had strong identities and knew how to rule themselves as individuals, therefore they had strength in humanity. Now, we've went, it's okay, our borders are protected by one emperor, and then he's buggered off, and so that's actually more hollow and more fragile than when it was a lot of disparate tribes. But at least they had their own identity and they knew what the place in that order was. Yeah, we got obviously now a hollowed out kingdom or empire with a series of
Touches of dark gods.
just like it's all very very friable, very it could crumble at any time. So it's good.
Well, that's the other thing is, remember that we will be returning back to book 1 as well. To that storyline's not finished. You will progress. There's still another 30 to 40 years to tell, and therefore you're going to see even more when you do bounce backwards and forwards. That you've already felt what it's like to be a Numorogan, to be up against how the Thuringians are, the Cherusians, the Endels, these distinct empires, these kingdoms of their own hates and loves and the way they follow things. And as you see now, we're just empire. It's more. This guy's recognised because he's a Seahawk. That's not a tribe, it's a regiment. You're in a tavern, in a roadside inn. You're no longer using the barter system. There's a distinct coin system in play.
But it's also got down to road wardens hanging people, burning people. It's like, wait a minute, that would never happen before as well. Warband would protect you, not go around and kill you, unless you were a different tribe. But you'd know not to go anywhere near that tribe because when they're that tribe, they're going to kill you. All right, fair enough. Yeah, whereas here, it's like we're supposed to be helped by these people, but maybe we can't. So you're less safe.
Yeah.
Or at least those lines are not as defined and strengthened.
Yeah. Right. Well,
Okay.
thank you very much. So that's effectively Cortex Roleplay episode 19, book 2, episode 1. Whoa!
Wait, that makes sense.
Lady bits.
Lady bits. Yes, we've had fire masturbation and
No, hammer wanking.
hammer wanking. Soapy bum wank for the posh. Hammer wanking for the manly men.
Yeah, for the ones who want to get some sort of
Pleasure.
red hot poker,
Yeah.
Chinese
The ones
burns,
that they've pushed
friction burns.
the standard and they go for that extra thing just to get the
Sort of thing you go to A&E and go, what do we do about that? Ooh,
That's how
that
the
looks angry.
Simplify communicates.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how the story goes. So basically, ultimately, this is for everybody here that's going to be watching this. We will be doing one more episode of this current line. We have a distinct, it is a trigger point campaign, and the first 2 episodes are to trigger a series of events. So we need to make sure that we get that done next week. Because we will then be down a man for a few sessions.
For a couple of sessions, probably.
At which point we shall be progressing with Arnung and Fordel, because at the end of next week's session, Framling will have clear direction on what he needs to be done. Meanwhile, you guys will have a few episodes, a few weeks where it's going to be pushing Arnung and Fordel's storyline. Yeah. So we need to see that through. So don't worry, we're not going to lose Nevin for a long time.
No, I'm just going somewhere where I'm going to be sweating like a nun in a strip bar, unfortunately.
Whorehouse.
Well, no, they don't sweat in whorehouses. A nun in a strip
Whorehouse dresses a nun.
Yeah, that's right. Good. Hi, ladies. Woo. Take up your pole. Woo!
You are blessed.
So is there 4 floors here? There is. There's only 3. Ah, they lie. They lie.
I shall make it 4.
We would consider at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, it'll be. It will be that. Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully not more.
No, yeah, because we should be sorted out by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one more week. Then we'll have a couple of weeks where it's going to be Arnung and Fordel's story before Framling shall return.
The return of Framling.
Yeah. So watch this space. Next week will be Book 2, Episode 2.
Episode 19, Book 2, Episode 2.
It's easy for me.
Episode 20.
Episode 2.
Episode 20.
Book 2.
Episode 2.
Do you want to call
The confusion.
chapters now?
I don't.
I'm just going to call it Book 2, Chapter 2.
Book 2,
Chapter 2.
So I'm the one that's going to keep
An episode, yeah.
the overall episode arc.
Yeah.
In my Fordel's Adventures.
Well, it'd be easy to do.
Episode 1.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Well, I'm going to put these up on as a list. So what I could do is go back to the first 18 and call them
yeah, I would.
Rise of an Empire.
Book
Yeah.
Rise of an Empire, Book 1,
Yeah.
And then Book 2.
Episode
Yeah.
1 through 18, and then this will be Empire and Flames, Book 2, Episode 1.
And then, yeah, that'd be easier.
So just be like,
And then at the end of each one, I'll just have in brackets.
Episode
front bum.
Yeah. Front bum.
So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
So you can always, or I put that before.
Oh, it's.
Will I start off? No, I'd have to put it.
Roman
In
numerals.
case somebody downloads all these, you're going to 1 through 20 to 25. So the numerical bracket number at the beginning is the episode overall.
Yeah.
So you know what order to watch them in. You're
well, no,
this is
because if you
one,
do
this is
book,
2.
yeah, but if you do Book 1, will it be in separate sections anyway?
So Book 1 will go blah 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 up to episode 18.
Yeah.
We then moved over to to Book 2.
Yeah.
We do X amount of chapters. What if we then go back to Book 1? It'll now be It'll now be number 37 episode, but it'll be only the 19th in that series. So we'll have to have the overall episode order at the beginning. So you can see you go Book 1, Book 3, Book 4, Book 2, Book 1, and you can see them being taught, but the overall number at the very first beginning, if you numerically order it, will tell you what sequence to watch it in. And you can see you move backwards forwards. So the reason for this confusion is, the whole point is we're going to be jumping between 2,500 years. We're going to move backwards and forwards to tell an overarching 2.5 millennia story, and seeing how one story arc, one set of characters' actions interact and influence future events. Caradoc, Grimm, Ulmakor, what they've done, what they've set about doing, people they've met in some cases. You will then fast forward 1,000 years, 1,500 years. Yeah. All right, and you will see that Grimm slapped this guy. 2,500 years, there's an entire tribe given over to happy slapping.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, why the hell did they do this? And then on this painting is this guy with a crazy, exactly, why? There's rumours of this goblin tribe in the Gloomfang forest who are apparently real close friends with humans. How did that happen? Oh, well, there's the story.
Someone called Stumpy.
Stumpy was really pissed off. And there's other things, like, for example, there are certain characters within the mythos that are long-lived, and you'll meet them, and then in the future, the other characters will interact with them, and they'll talk of a time, and you'll see, they'll set upon a path that other characters are going to see, and you obviously have player knowledge of it. You'll have been able to watch it, go, that's because Ulmakor did that, that's because Ulmakor did that, that's Caradoc, and then later on down the line, Alaric the Mad, for example. He wasn't called Alaric the Mad. He was just a young smith at the end of Book 1, Chapter 17, when you're about to meet him. Move forward 1100 years.
Bonkers.
There's batshit crazy Alaric. He ain't that young whippersnapper runesmith. He's now a rune lord and batshit crazy. You know, and you get to actually see as you go backwards and forwards how you look at a guy that's really cool at one point, but a complete bastard. And you get to see why that happened. So that's what it's all about. We're into book 2. We are going to go back to book 1, and eventually we'll all end up. We'll bounce around 4 different books until eventually we get to the end. So stick with us. Every episode's worth watching. Some are just a little bit buildery, you know. Some are big story arcs, episodes that real sort of time changes. And then other times you just find yourself in a tavern, banging one out. Slife.
Yeah, if in doubt.
Check the
Bang
chest.
one out.
Dope.
It's not quite join the pack.
Hashtag follow the pack is probably better for us in this case. Oh, how mature have we got? Well, thanks very much. Bye from Ken.
Yeah, bye. Who's always going to jump in on
Bye,
the other?
Rob.
Bye! Yeah.